As I said before, you can go with Elon Musk up to the moon if you want, if you're playing great. Marcus Rashford has stunk the place out. And Amran actually said that will not happen, didn't he? He said that will not happen now that I'm in charge. Players will not be flying off to, whether it's Disneyland or to, like, slam dunk in the NBA. So he's actually put Marcus Rashford up front. All you three can be on Rashford watch, because I've watched him 3 times this season and he's barely got into a jog. Henry, you was with me, weren't you, at Old Trafford against Chelsea, where he walked off and you think, mate, you ain't going to need to have a shower, because he doesn't track back, he doesn't press. Under Amorim, he's the one who's going to set the press off. So it'd be interesting to see the reaction he gets from Marcus Rashford, because I think he's put himself under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, but I think Marcus Rashford will absolutely seize this opportunity. Obviously, they've got to get him the service. He can play through that role. He's probably best, as you know, sort of cutting in off the left. But look, Rashford's an intelligent individual. He will know that there's so much scrutiny on him at the moment. You've only got to go on the Manchester United forums to see that he is a player under pressure because of the new contract, because there's always an extra pressure on homegrown players. But I think, my limited knowledge of Marcus Rashford is that he does care about the club. But as you say, this is his opportunity. And just one quick thing, we've just seen them do a final sprint warm-up with all of Amorim's coaches around them, absolutely shouting at them and urging them on, and it was pretty intense. So I don't think they'll be missing much.
And you suspect that the way in which Amorim plays, the way in which he demands things from his players, that within the next month or two, if you can't do it or you won't do it, you'll be surplus to requirements.
Yeah, he said something similar to that, didn't he? We'll get onto that in just a moment. We'll try and hear from him as well before kick-off. There's lots to get through between now and then on the Sunday session. That was a look at the Premier League action with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like Ipswich against Manchester United live today. Search Now Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like Ipswich versus Manchester United live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
The last time Ipswich beat Manchester United way back in September 1994. Paul Scholes debuted here at Portman Road that day, and he still managed to score a consolation goal even in defeat, 3-2. What a start of a great career that was. You're listening to the Sunday session on TalkSport and the Talk Network. Stick with us, we're building up to a big game here.
Visit the UPS Store certified packing experts for a little extra peace of mind shipping your gifts this holiday season. Product services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out.
Pour Downy in a rinse straight.
Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean.
Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
Life's better with American Family Insurance. Because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
If you've been too busy to sign up for your health insurance plan, it's understandable. It's also why there's Health Markets. At healthmarkets.com, you can see the plans available to you and even speak to a licensed insurance agent. Just dial pound 250 and say Health Markets. They'll answer your questions, and when you're ready, even help you apply. Just dial pound 250 and say Health Markets. Getting your new health insurance plan could be easier than you think. Health Markets Insurance Agency, Inc. is licensed as an insurance agency nationwide except in Massachusetts.
You know that feeling when you're at Ross and you find the best gifts for way less? Like brand name sweaters.
Yes!
The coolest toys.
Yes!
Even plush dog beds. Get that feeling with every gift and save 20 to 60% off other retailers' prices at Ross.
Double dose of live international football on TalkSport 2. First up, Heidenheim versus Chelsea. Kick-off 5:45 p.m.
What a start!
Then get Tottenham versus Roma down you at 8.
Great delivery!
Intoxicating live Thursday night football on alternative transmission tonic TalkSport 2.
Can we pretend that airplane?
Sounds of the weekend on the Sunday session on TalkSport.
Sounds of the weekend this weekend. Ian Holloway says that Swindon's training ground is haunted and Mikel Antonio has got passport issues. So we've got B.O.B. airplanes for Antonio. Kim in commentary. Gary, the Tottenham fan. Johnny Cash, Ghost Riders. Very good. And Mark, the Chelsea fan. John Denver, and this classic, leaving on a jet plane.
No, he ain't. He's grounded. He's going nowhere.
Yeah, Perry, turn away now. I've got one for the ghosts, Ectoplasm and the Bunnymen.
Do you know what? As Bon Jovi once said, Henry, you took the words right out of my mouth. I'll just become like that one myself.
That was Meatloaf, but anyway. Right, okay, let's go to the Allianz at Twickenham and TalkSport's Alfie Reynolds.
England 7, Japan 0. One of the best pieces of attacking play we've seen from England this autumn sees Ben Earl scoring underneath the posts. It was after Ollie Lawrence was put through a hole by Marcus Smith. Before that, it was a bit of a scrappy start. Exactly what England would have wanted, though. 11.5 minutes gone. England 7, Japan 0.
Ipswich are the other team that are playing in this game today, and we should reference them. They've got a bright young coach of their own, and they went into the international break with a bit of a bounce, having beat Spurs by 3-1, was it? I think it was in the end. They end up beating 2-1. They beat Spurs. They go above Leicester in 16th position if they win today. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on. Let's find out what Betfair think of their chances.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Put a deposit limit on your account so you can get on with the fun while sticking to your budget. Learn more at safergambling.betfair.com.
Joe Dyer is on the show. Joe, what are the pre-match odds?
The pre-match odds are, drum roll please, it was a game one of the Ruben Amorim era, and United are strong favourites to begin with a win. Actually, they're 4-7 to go home with all 3 points. Ipswich, you mentioned them just there. Obviously, can't forget the home team, 7-2. The draw is 23-10. Those odds are all from Betfair's Match Odds 90 market, so that comes with a 90-minute guarantee. If you head into the injury time with your bet winning, you'll get paid out as a winner regardless of what happens next. I can give you a little, just if I flick back to the earlier game, if you don't mind, I'll give a quick title update because Liverpool have gone odds on for the title on the Betfair Exchange. So you can get 20-21 on Liverpool winning the league. Arsenal next best, 7-2. City 4-1 with all those wobbles. And then you're getting double figure odds for Chelsea, 20-1, Spurs 50s, United 90-1. So yeah, little bit of betting drama there from the top of the table. You're looking at the game today. The Betfair traders are fancying goals. We've got 8-13 that there's over 2.5, and it's 4-7 that both teams find the back of the net. And if we're looking at who might score those goals, we mentioned Rashford earlier, didn't we? He is the favourite here at 17-10 just to score and 11-2 to score first. I mentioned for Liam Delap, obviously he's scored 50% of Ipswich's goals so far this season. Looking a real handful. He's 10-3 to score and 10-1 to score first.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Joe, thank you very much. Appreciate that. That's all thanks to Betfair. 18+, BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Put a deposit limit on your account so you can get on with the fun while sticking to your budget. Learn more at safergambling.betfair.com.
If I was a betting man right now, it'd be Arsenal who I would be picking, but that's because of the odds, not necessarily because I think that they will do it. We'll see what happens. There's a long way to go in the Premier League, that is for sure, and Ruben Amorim will know that. Let's get back to the game here, but I'll tell you quickly that there's been a goal over on TalkSport 2 and an equaliser. Ben Cabango scored an own goal. Leeds 2, Swansea 2 down at Swansea.com Stadium. I wanted to talk about Ipswich. How would you rate their season so far, Mike, still under Kieran McKenna?
I mean, it's a huge jump when you consider where they were 2 years ago in League One. They also made a whole raft of signings. They spent more than £100 million on players, so he's had to integrate those players into a winning team that were pretty unstoppable for most of last season. I was here a lot last season, and they on most occasions they were an absolute joy to watch. They attacked at speed, and they caused other teams all sorts of problems. Clearly, they weren't going to be able to do that in the Premier League as much, and they needed time to get grounded. And I think they're grounded now, and once they get the home win, I think they'll be up and running properly. But that win against Spurs is a massive boost,
The only team in the Premier League yet to have a Premier League home win. Jason Dizelle, the Ipswich legend, was on your show this morning, Henry. You were speaking to him about Ipswich, and he said that the phrase, "we've got our club back." To build on the momentum that the new owners, the Ed Sheeran, all that kind of stuff, Kieran McKenna have injected into this club, how important is it, do you think, for this club to stabilise themselves in the Premier League?
Well, totally. I mean, it's been a while since they've been here. But look, Sam, you just look out on this. You look at the atmosphere. You look at the full house. What is it, 30,000 here? You look at the sort of the buzz that has returned, partly because of the new owners, partly because of the recruits, but a lot of it is down to Kieran McKenna. You'll have interviewed him. You'll have got to know him. He's a very impressive individual. Quite grounded, but there's a look in his eye that you wouldn't want to cross him. And you look at some of the recruits that they've brought in. I'm a huge Liam Delap fan. I watch him a lot with the under-21s at a time when under-9s, certainly not under-9, when number 9s are sort of going out of fashion, supposedly. I think he's terrific, and his match-up with, if it's Johnny Evans, will be quite a battle today.
Amazing just to watch the scene in front of us, the red of Manchester United with the black shirts, one side of the Premier League hoarding, the blue shirts, white shorts, blue socks of the mascots in front of the Ipswich Town players to the other side. The pyrotechnics have gone up. Ruben Amorim has just walked down the touchline for the first time. He's shaken the hand of his opposite number, Kieran McKenna. There's a few hugs and cuddles going on for shared staff who have got sort of memories of one another at Manchester United times past. Amorim's just taken a seat inside the dugout down below us. He's then stretched out, opened the hydration container and got himself out a bottle of water before he sits down in his big black long puffer jacket. The climate a little bit different to the one he's used to patrolling the touchline in. I like this quote in the press conference yesterday from Amorim. "I'm a little bit of a dreamer. I believe in myself. I also believe in the club. I believe in my mindset. That can help. I truly believe in the players also. The only thing I ask is hard work and that you believe in the new idea. I felt that until they proved me wrong. I believe in the players." Perry, that was a little warning, wasn't it?
New rule will be, you work your socks off or you will not be in my team, Sam. And I can guarantee you, we talk about the culture. The culture has to change at Man United. There'll be 6 or 7 of these players in the squad today that won't be at Manchester United next season, but he knows he has to use them. So basically, they're all on trial. He'll implement. He hasn't had a lot of time. Like the system he wants to play, but he'll be just looking for work rate off the ball, and that's what Man United haven't been doing under Ten Hag. And I'm looking at Manchester United midfield here with Eriksen and Casemiro. I'll just be worried about the legs in that centre area, because Sam Morsey and Kajusta, who's come in for Ipswich, they're very athletic. Sam Morsey will look to get himself on the ball and be the conductor. Kajusta is one who goes and closes down. And Leif Davis for Ipswich on that left-hand side as well. Like natural left-footed player. Very, very good going forward.
Well, there's no doubt about that, and he's brilliant in terms of supplying assists and crosses into the box. Henry, Amorim was really clear and direct with these players. I think that is quite important, actually. Short with instructions. It's something that's very different to Ten Hag, who would do long meetings and video sessions. How important is it to get players on side?
Oh, 100% important. Also because he hasn't actually had that much time. It's not as if he's got a sort of pre-season to work with. It's not as if he's been able to bring any of his own choices of players. So he'll have gone in there and absolutely, as you say, short messages, short meetings, and just sort of try to inspire. Just one thing very quickly, I noticed when Ipswich Town walked out, Sam Morsey, their captain, was wearing ear defenders, because he was walking out with one of the mascots who had them. We're seeing this increasingly in the Premier League, and I like that when they're doing it with children. I don't know whether the mascot had autism, but you know, the lights and the noise can be an issue, particularly the noise. So fair play to Ipswich Town and Sam Morsey for doing that.
Absolutely. And it's the 4:30 kickoff on a Sunday afternoon. Now, Jeremy Clarkson has been the talk of farmers up and down the land this week, but the real tractor boys are only interested in making sure that Ruben Amorim's inheritance is taxing. We're underway in the Ruben Amorim era, live on TalkSport at Portman Road. Many have tried and failed to bring on the legacy of Sir Alex Ferguson, but as Amorim says, I'm a dreamer. And he's not the only one. The Portuguese manager's era has started. Ipswich and Manchester United are underway, and we have all the action on the Sunday session on TalkSport and the Talk Network. Let's go off to Twickenham, and there's been a try for Alfie Reynolds.
Yeah, we're midway through the first half. It's England 14, Japan 0. The second England try scored by Sam Underhill. He muscled over from close range, looked to pick up an injury in the process of scoring the try, though. So he's been replaced by Chandler Cunningham-South. But for an England side who came into this having lost their last 5, it is exactly the opening 20 minutes that they would have wanted to have. 2 tries scored by England. They lead Japan 14-0.
Very quickly, Mike Shaw, just confirm the Manchester United setup. It is that back 3 that we thought, isn't it?
It is exactly that back 3. They've got a Nana in goal. It's Mazraoui, De Ligt and Evans as the 3, with Ahmad on the right side in the right wing-back position, Dalot in the left, Casemiro and Eriksen, the central midfielders, with Fernandes and Garnacho behind Rashford up front, and they're coming forward right now, in fact, through Amad Diallo. They've got options in the middle, and one of them is Rashford, and Rashford has scored. 1 minute and 20 seconds into the Ruben Amorim era, and Marcus Rashford, whose performances have been called into question, has struck straight away within 90 seconds. It's Ipswich 0, Manchester United 1.
Ruben Amorim is on Ed Sheeran's patch, but the only way to describe the start to his era is perfect. 1 minute and 20 seconds, Henry Winter, and United are in front, and it's come from Ahmad playing at right wing back, over on the far side, charging up the field, and his new look centre forward lineup, which includes Marcus Rashford, finishing it off.
So maybe every weekend they should actually head off and go and watch your mates in the in New York. I mean, look, he is a good player, and that was, I mean, it was a fantastic break. You know, they just sort of recycled the ball very quickly, and it was a good clinical finish from Rashford. Get him in the air, get him causing trouble, get him scoring again.
Barry Groves.
Tell you what, it's a brilliant goal from Man United. He started off with an Anna, actually, just playing out for the back. Man, like you said, Ahmad on that right-hand side, and you can tell, actually, in that little instance, that Amorim has said to his wide players, when you're in the wide areas, you just whip the ball into the 18-yard box. Ahmad does exactly that, across the 6-yard box. Marcus Rashford centrally getting across his marker, and then when the goalkeeper comes out, he's got absolutely no chance. Muric is sort of caught in no man's land. Rashford just gets there with his left foot, toe posts it past him. Amorim's sitting on the touchline thinking, what's all the fuss about? This is quite easy.
It was quite interesting to watch in the build-up that Ahmad got the better of both Kayuste and Leif Davis, who was out of position, and that's why he was able to break down the right side and get that cross in for Rashford.
That is Manchester United who lead. Ipswich 0, Manchester United 1, and it's taken less than 3 minutes for the Manchester United fans that have made the long journey down from Manchester to burst into song. La 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 la. Ruben Amorim. That's what they're singing. This is the Sunday session on Talk Sport. We'll be talking about Liverpool's comeback win at Southampton very shortly, and Leicester sacking Steve Cooper, which also happened today. 03717 22 334.
We know you have a lot on your holiday to-do list. And at the UPS Store, we're here to help. With our pack and ship guarantee, your gifts will arrive intact or you'll be reimbursed. Got holiday cards to print? We're also the premier printing store. We've got everything you need for every way you holiday. Visit the upsstore.com/guarantee for full details. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today.
The Sussman Agency for the client Room Place, title BFGOBRD 30, slate number RPF-R24-034. This is a 30-second stereo radio.
After 112 years, the Room Place is going out of business. All locations are closing and everything must go now. We've cut prices lower than Black Friday store-wide with discounts of 50 to 75% off, even on our best products like 5-piece modular sectionals, now just $9.95, a $4,000 savings from the original price. Or queen mattresses, now just $233. Shop these massive discounts in-store or online with new products and markdowns daily. The Room Place is going out of business. Hurry in while supplies last.
After you use Bounce Dryer sheets and realize how fresh, soft, less wrinkled, and less staticky your laundry can be, you'll want to sit on it every time. Like those socks that smell like they've been through a marathon. Or that blanket that's got wrinkles on its wrinkles. Maybe even your chatty coworker who keeps distracting you? Okay, bounce dryer sheets can't do it all. But for fresher, softer, better laundry...
Life's better with American Family Insurance. Because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Our radio station staff present a double bill of Wednesday night Champions League action. Liverpool versus Real Madrid on TalkSport.
Steals the point!
And Aston Villa versus Juventus on TalkSport 2.
Right on the line!
Build up from 7, kick off 8 p.m.
And there goes the full-time whistle!
Double Fast Tracks Wednesday Night Live. Champions League football on the TalkSport network and on the app.
Good afternoon, this is the Sunday session from TalkSport live at Portman Road, where Liverpool have already beaten Southampton by 3-2 in the Premier League, and here Manchester United took 1 minute and 22 seconds to get in front against Ipswich Town at the start of the Ruben Amorim era. Leeds are 3-2 up against Swansea over on TalkSport 2. Chelsea have beaten Manchester United by 1-0 in the WSL, and there's been another try at Twickenham for TalkSport's Alfie Reynolds.
And another try for England. England 21, Japan 0. Third try of the game for England, scored by their captain Jamie George, touching down at the back of a driving maul. He's had to front up and be the face of the team this month as they've been criticised, but he's got to try to show for his efforts here. We've got 14 minutes until half-time. England 21, Japan 0.
Big news this afternoon is that Leicester City have sacked their manager Steve Cooper, with the club 16th in the Premier League after just 12 games of the season. The Foxes beaten 2-1 yesterday by Chelsea, managed by their former boss Enzo Maresca. Remember, Cooper only appointed in the summer, late in June actually, early July, and one of the things that I sort of heard privately was that he was a little bit upset about the fact that it took so long to get the targets that he was after, or just any sort of players into the club, because of recruitment was a bit of an issue, because they felt as if they were going to get a 6-point deduction. That didn't happen, and now they feel, I think, that they've got a chance of staying up, but they're going to do so with another manager. Let's speak to TalkSport's football editor Jason Bourne, who's in Leicester for us this afternoon. Hi Jason.
Afternoon, Sam.
What's the timeline here? Because for most outside observers, people will think this is a little bit knee-jerk.
It's my understanding that it wasn't a knee-jerk reaction. There has been some suggestion that the club and the chairman, the owners, have been monitoring the situation, the club performances and results in recent weeks, and not been happy with what they've been seeing. You know, the fans haven't been happy with what they've been seeing over the last few weeks. Only 2 wins so far in the Premier League this season. And you could ask, again, from an outsider's point of view, surely this is what Leicester fans and Leicester should be expecting as a newly promoted club. It isn't 3, 4, 5 years ago when they were riding high at the top end of the Premier League table. But the club have been decisive. They've been showing a bit of urgency in reacting to what's happened over the last few weeks. They felt action was needed to give them the best chance to stay up in the Premier League. Look, they're not inside the bottom 3 at the moment. They've not been inside the bottom 3 since the start of the campaign. But there has been a failure, as I understand it, with Cooper to connect with the players and also the fans. That Forest connection, logically, it shouldn't matter, but it just hasn't helped matter.
On the recruitment of new manager, I'll be amazed if they haven't got someone in place already.
Again, my understanding is there is nobody necessarily in the frame right now, but you go back to the summer, Perry, and it looked like Graham Potter was going to be the man to take over from Enzo Maresca in the summer. Reported by TalkSport, Alex Cook and myself have been working on the story, and we understood that Potter was all but the Leicester manager. But something seemed to change in the summer. There seemed to be some sort of change in decision, I think, from the Potter end, maybe about certain assurances about what was going to be going on this season, given the points deduction was going to be hanging over the head. Obviously, that's not taking place now, and that won't take place this season. So, would Potter be attractive enough for Leicester City at the moment? I think from Leicester to him, yes. From Potter to Leicester, who knows at the moment. But given that how close they were in the summer, he's perhaps had a chance to look at the strength of the squad. And, I go back to what, Steve Cooper's been doing this season and what Leicester fans have been thinking about the calibre of performance this season. There's an expectation that Leicester will struggle this season, but was Steve Cooper getting the best out of the players? In my opinion, no. Could Graham Potter or another manager do that? I think yes.
Well, interestingly, I mean, we sort of alluded to this yesterday. You would have heard yesterday when we were doing the introduction to the game that I talked a little bit about Leicester City supporters and their relationship with head coaches. You go back over the last 10 years, I can't remember the last time that Leicester City fans fell in love.
I think Nigel Pearson, perhaps you would go back to him when he got the Foxes promoted from the Championship as champions up to the Premier League and then kept them up, but obviously that situation turned sour with, the scandal that summer. Claudio Ranieri came in and did wonders. We all know about that. But then, since then, it's been a very difficult relationship
wonders,
between
Jason, but it is worth pointing out that almost, 6 months after he'd won the league, he was fired.
Indeed, and that shows the decisiveness and urgency that perhaps wasn't showing a couple of years ago when they, again, in my opinion, they should have sacked Brendan Rodgers much earlier, and perhaps a new manager would have kept them in the Premier League and none of this would have happened, this timeline, etc. But, Paul Powell wasn't a popular manager. Brendan Rodgers wasn't necessarily the most popular manager despite achieving fifth place finishes and FA Cup winners medal as well, the first time in the club's history. And then Enzo Maresca last season with the style of football. Yes, he got them up and it was a great thing to do, but a lot of fans weren't particularly enamoured with what they were seeing on the field.
Jace, talking about Graham Potter, if he is you're going to get a manager that calibre, they're going to want assurances there'll be money to spend, obviously, in January. And also, from Steve Cooper's point of view, I don't think his reputation is tarnished too much, because he would say, I wasn't given nowhere enough time. They're outside the relegation zone when they sacked me. We knew it was going to be a fight against relegation, so I don't think his stock has gone any lower.
I mean, in terms of transfers and the money available, there was a fair bit spent in the summer. I don't know whether that was necessarily, or the amount that was spent was due to what could have happened over the course of this season. Were they maybe keeping the purse strings a little bit tight, depending on whether they'll get that points deduction or not? Steve Cooper, as I understand it, wanted at least 2 players in the January transfer window, 2 players that would make a real difference in the starting 11, not squad players to go in. Defensively, they've just looked so poor this season. Wout Faes yesterday, mistakes. Caleb Bicoli, who came in from Atalanta in the summer, again, a youngish player coming over from Italy, in and around the Italian squad as well, but just seems to be inconsistent. And I believe the club thought he would be eventually a strong player, and he may still well be. But you look at that defence, and the one that started against Manchester United a couple of weeks ago before the international break, the 4 defenders were all part of the squad in the relegation season. That doesn't say to me that they've enhanced or improved the squad enough to stay up again this season, certainly in defence.
OK, Jason Bourne, our football editor, thank you very much for giving us an update on the Leicester City situation. They've sacked Steve Cooper today. Who will they replace him with? Let's ask our chief football correspondent, Alex Crook, who's back in place at St Mary's. I'm sure you've already been hitting the phone lines and trying to find out who is the favourite to take over.
Absolutely. I think, as Jason was just telling you there, sometimes the assumption when a manager gets sacked in these circumstances is the replacement is already lined up and in place. I think from what Jason was saying, that isn't the case with Leicester. They're not necessarily expected to make an immediate appointment. We know that Graham Potter was very close to taking the job in the summer. In fact, my understanding is that the only reason Steve Cooper got the job in the first place was because Graham Potter, right at the last minute, asked for more time to think about the role. The owner there wasn't particularly enamoured with that, and hence the fact that Cooper, who they'd originally ruled against appointing, came in. I'm sure Graham Potter is still high on their list. The question he's got to ask himself is, does he fancy it? Because we know he's turned down a lot of opportunities to come back to work. Is this the right time for him? I think Ruud van Nistelrooy has made no secret of the fact that he wants to be a Premier League manager, so I'm sure he will throw his hat into the ring as well. You've got David Moyes, Sam, who we believe also wants to get back to the dugout. If you're looking for a firefighter type appointment, he would be a potential appointment as well. But I think if Potter wants it, I would say there's every chance they go back to him at this moment in time.
What about the man who's here today, Lee Carsley, watching on?
Not sure, to be honest. I wonder how much damage that Greece game at Wembley, when he played without a recognised striker, when England lost that Nations League match, maybe some of the things he was saying in the media, not necessarily his own fault, but the mixed signals that he was sending out. I wonder if maybe a Premier League club might feel that he's not quite ready for that yet. Frank Lampard has been stalling, hasn't he, on taking the Coventry job. We were expecting maybe him to be confirmed over the weekend. I was told on Friday that talks were still ongoing. So again, you put two and two together and you ask yourself, could maybe he be holding out for a Premier League job? This is a big appointment that Leicester City have to make. I'm not surprised that Steve Cooper has gone because of the situation in which he was appointed in the first.
Morsi, Hutchinson. It's an unfortunate byproduct of Kayuste's enthusiasm. He's caught Casemiro.
What Ipswich are trying to do when Manchester United have the ball is go man to man, really. They're trying to get their heads down quickly. Amman's really trying to work the relationship between Garnacho and Dalot on this left-hand side. Dalot's going a bit high as a wing-back, and Garnacho isn't then dropping into the space, so they're a bit blocked down here at the moment. That might change. He's just had a good chat with them.
Garnacho. Slips in for Bruno Fernandes. Garnacho to try and curl it.
He'll be pleased with himself, Amorim, because as I said, he just had a chat with Garnacho and Dalot. They linked up well there. Eventually, Garnacho getting the ball in a dangerous area. A bit disappointing that he didn't force a save from Muric there because of the wind, the conditions. There's quite a lot to work with to get it back on target.
Manchester United's travelling support going through the repertoire of songs that have become familiar down the years. Referee Anthony Taylor allowing play to continue with Manchester United in possession. And Amad Diallo down on the floor, and his colleagues are saying, look, he is in trouble, put the ball out of play.
Yeah. Burgess, who made the challenge on him. It's not the best touch in the first instance by Fernandes, and that invites Burgess to just try and nip the ball off Amad. He does catch him.
It's been checked and cleared by the VAR, who today is Jared Gillett. There's an opportunity for an impromptu coaching session from the new man, who savoured this moment just 81 seconds in.
Yeah, it's good link-up play between Bruno Fernandes and Amad, and what a fantastic run this is. Great skill and pace. Finished off with a delightful ball into the area. It looks like he slightly miskicks that. More hopeful than meant in the end, but Marcus Rashford earning that goal with his work into the 6-yard box across the goalkeeper.
You're in an uncharitable mood, aren't you? So Marcus Rashford possibly miskicked that. You're telling me earlier that Mohamed Salah's first goal for Liverpool today didn't mean that either.
Exactly. I think Rashford meant the finish. It was the cross from Amad that I thought looked like a bit of a miskick on that. Yeah, it's a high standard, it's a high bar. Mo Salah's goal, if anyone's seen it, was definitely a poor touch rather than an excellent finish.
Leads me to think that there's a bit of a disconnect, Graham, in your own mind between the level that you thought you were at and the level you're actually at when you played.
That could very well be true.
Jallo's waiting his moment to be waved back on from the far side, having had treatment. Cameron Burgess, who's an Australian international, albeit born in Scotland, in Aberdeen. Kayuste. Twanzebe. Morsi. Hutchinson. And Morsi went in and caught Garnacho, who reacted fairly dramatically, but immediately Anthony Taylor's gesture was one of calm, as if to say there's not going to be a card for that.
Yeah, he's certainly taken the sort of the more lenient approach there, Anthony Taylor, with both the challenge on Ahmad and that one on Garnacho. And again, I don't mind that. It's making sure that you're consistent within that bar that he's set himself. See Manchester United, when they get into these situations, they've got some little passing networks going, but they're not really going anywhere with the ball. That's actually inviting Ipswich to step in as they did there and win the ball, so this is a positive period for Ipswich that they need to capitalise on.
They have become harder to beat as the season's gone on, Ipswich. They've only lost 3 of their last 9 in the Premier League. Capped off with that first win at Tottenham a fortnight ago. Hutchinson. It's a player with nice balance. Burns. Twanzebe. Hutchinson. All Twanzebe could do was rescue it. Burns. Eriksson seems slightly surprised.
Yeah, as Evans stepped in and then pulled out because the bounce of the ball beat Evans. Caught Eriksson on the knee and went harmlessly wide, but it's a nice little period there for Ipswich with Amari Hutchinson in the centre of everything that they're doing. Very good close control, good first touch, final pass, one more bit of quality and they get in.
Leif Davis. And Onana chooses Garnacho, and Manchester United are on their way. Well played by Smodics.
That's a fantastic challenge by Smodics. Garnacho apologising to Rashford, who'd made a really powerful run to get in behind the Ipswich defence, didn't see the ball. Again, more frustration from Amorim. When that ball went into Eriksson, he had the chance to turn, and he didn't. He took the safe option, played it back, and They missed an opportunity to break through the next line of Ipswich press in that phase.
Darrow. Ipswich have it with O'Shea.
Starting to win more and more those 1v1, the contests, and the individual little battles that are happening all over the pitch.
Bundle of nervous energy down there.
Looks like he's bought some new trainers for the, or sneakers for the match.
I think he can probably afford them now. Nusa Mazraoui. Ahmad Jallow. Matthijs de Ligt. And now Johnny Evans, closing in on his 37th birthday. Hutchinson. Delap. Exciting ball carrier, and he has won a free kick, having had his legs scythed from beneath him by Evans.
Yeah, Johnny Evans had to go for that. Almost looked like he'd lost control of the ball, slightly overran it as it bounced inside as he cut back against Eriksson, but then his athleticism and his pace got him to the ball quicker than Evans, and this is a great opportunity. And that whole move was started by Amari Hutchinson on the halfway line with a wonderful turn and then a turn of pace to get himself away from the Manchester United midfield. You have to say isn't the quickest.
I think you're being kind. Kieran McKenna and his staff take great pride in Ipswich's set pieces. Inventive playbook and a couple of excellent exponents in Hutchinson and Davis in particular.
The complicated part about this is the up and down. It's quite close, isn't it? Big wall. So whether they try and exploit any weakness around either side of it.
It's Hutchinson.
Good discipline that from Onana. They've tried to use the decoy of a couple of players on the end of that wall. Onana wasn't moving an inch there as he held his ground, trusted his wall, and was in the right position to make a comfortable save.
Bruno Fernandes finds himself some space and time and finds Eriksson. Rashford pointing at where he wanted the ball. It goes the other way for Dallow.
Yeah, nice play by Fernandes there to wriggle out of a tight spot. Great awareness. But again, Ipswich press is excellent. They always look like they're under pressure, Manchester United, as they try to play through.
Ipswich Town's most prominent fan and shareholder, in fact, Ed Sheeran, here as he usually is. He actually has a squad number, so popular is he with the fans. He's number 17. Hutchinson. Ipswich have not been without their moments in this game so far. Wes Burns. Twanzebe. Hutchinson.
The obvious thing from Ipswich, the Ipswich point of view, is they look much more comfortable in their shape. They've been playing it for some time. They've got an understanding that you can see Manchester United players don't quite have at the moment, given their positions.
Burns cross, defended by Evans for a corner. And this should bring Leif Davis into play again. Last corner wasn't his most impressive, but generally he sets a pretty high standard, especially with the in-swingers from the right flank.
And you've got to take into account the wind definitely affects a set piece and in-swinger.
Davis. Burgess up. Hutchinson! It's on target. Davis, Smodix, and Morsey on the cover against Rashford.
That's brilliant defending that by Morsey, because I thought Rashford would have the legs on him, but his determination was excellent. This ball's a little bit big to the far post, but it's well covered. Lovely header back into the area. It's Dallow who blocks it. So many United bodies there, but good opportunity. Well struck into the ground, hitting the target.
Hutchinson. Delat. Kayuste.
Loves working in those tight areas, doesn't he, Amari Hutchinson?
Leif Davis is struggling here, to the extent that he could do no more than that. A big part of what Kieran McKenna has achieved these past 3 seasons at Ipswich. Signed from Leeds United, product of the famous Wallsend Boys Club in the northeast that produced Alan Shearer, amongst others.
Yeah, it's a challenge, I think, here. There at the contact, Casemiro, as he played the ball. It's a lovely ball by Casemiro into that space, but the follow-through, you watch as he follows through with the kick. Oh, you can't see it, it's blocked. But he gets a clout on the shin, so hopefully it's just an impact that he can run off. Wear bigger shin pads would be my advice.
Looks like he's going to be okay. Quite a few players have been having a chat with the respective coaching staffs and have had to be reminded the game is now back underway. Now drifting back into their positions. Burgess, Delat, Smodix, Burns. Second chance to re-deliver. It's hooked out by Hutchinson to Morsey. to Burgess. And now fit again, Leif Davis. That's some pass. Garnacho, foot race with Tuanzebe. Rashford arriving in support. No foul.
Not a chance of a foul. Anthony Taylor wasn't going to fall for that. What a ball by Fernandes. So it's classic counter-attacking football by Manchester United. They get numbers back. They're dropping into a back five with two screens in front of that back five with Eriksen and Casemiro, and then Bruno Fernandes is the outlet when they win the ball, and the pace of Garnacho, Rashford is the threat in behind.
Well, we're just receiving interesting, some would say alarming news from Stockley Park in West London that VAR is down at the moment because they have a fire alarm going off in the building where VAR is housed in West London, and they're having to evacuate, and that message has just been relayed to Anthony Taylor via his headset, and that's why he's calling in the two captains to tell them that they'll be proceeding from this point on for we don't know how long without VAR. So it's back to the old days, Graham.
I'm waiting for the rest of the stadium to hear. I bet there'll be a massive cheer.
Oh, hear it from here to Norwich, I think.
I might start a Mexican wave.
Well, Ipswich are used to playing without VAR from their time in the EPL, and we're back to that situation for as long as it takes for the fire alarm to be investigated at PGMOL headquarters.
See time after time how Manchester United can't get out, can they? They just don't look comfortable with the picture ahead of them.
No, they don't.
And it's understandable in the sense that they've had 2 days to work at a new system, and people say it's not about the system, it's about the players. No, it's not. It's about both. You need to understand the system as a player to execute it and then solve your own problems. And at the moment, Manchester United are okay passing the ball between the back three, but they can't bring the wing-backs into play, and there's not enough options ahead of the ball. And Ipswich can sense that. They're pressing well as a unit.
Well, there is one metric in the Premier League in which Ipswich are top, which is the most distance covered on the field this season. Manchester United are only 14th in that regard. Casemiro. There's a whole lot of space for Dalot to try and exploit. And he holds off Burns, but can't get both power and direction.
Well, that's in the first minute when I said about Manchester United using the wind because it's against them. That's a great example there. What a ball from Casemiro. He might have lost parts of his game and his physicality, and it wasn't that long ago he had an absolute horror, didn't he, at Old Trafford, but his passing quality, his awareness and execution of those passes is exceptional. You don't lose that as a player. Well, you do when you're mine.
You got there first.
I was waiting for you to say you never had that quality.
What do you take me for? Davis. Nicely done. Liam Delap! Huge opportunity for Ipswich Town. And a big save by Onana.
Oh, he has to score. I know he scored 50+% of Ipswich's goals, but that chance is absolutely massive. What a ball into him as well. went for power, didn't he, really, rather than just placing it.
Burns, Morsey. Square is Kayuste.
Really well, aren't they, Ipswich at the moment?
O'Shea. Hutchinson. Sam Morsey again. Jens Kayuste.
Yeah, they're getting outrun in midfield, Manchester United at the moment. Ipswich finding a spare man, interchanging position. Here's the chance for Delat. What a ball that is into Leif Davis. And this pass here, he takes out 4 Manchester United players with the pass. And again, he has to score that. Anana makes himself as big as he possibly can, and it comes back off that right arm. It's a terrific save, but a huge, huge opportunity to level things up for Ipswich.
Good escape by Morsey. Kayuste. Hutchinson. These are good moments for Ipswich Town. Can't help but feel they need something tangible from them, though. Hutchinson. Burns. Hutchinson. Trying to curl it, deflected it in! Ipswich Town with a big moment on their big, big day. And it's a wow moment from Amari Hutchinson.
Oh, they've deserved this equaliser. Lovely play. I was saying about that wonderful first touch he has in tight areas. Look at this touch there. Just rolls into the pitch towards the goal. Gives himself a great angle with that first touch. Second touch away. Yes, he gets a slight deflection off Masraoui. But it's a great finish. Well worked and thoroughly deserved, given how dominant Ipswich have been in the majority of this first half.
Absolutely no question that the host deserved that. And a first Premier League goal, the deflection notwithstanding, for 21-year-old Amari Hutchinson.
And I was going to say, when you mentioned about they need to capitalise on this dominance, and they needed to do it before half-time, because there's no way Ruben Amorim leaves the team, the Manchester United team, set up like this for the second half. He's got to find a way of getting someone else in midfield and finding an outlet for United, because Ipswich are all over them at the moment.
Euphoric mood inside Portman Road. So I don't want to be the one to deflate things, Graham, but I've got some news that will get a mixed reception. VAR's back.
Oh. That's good news.
Fire alarm has been cleared at Stockley Park.
Thankfully, the goal wasn't controversial in any way, shape or form, was it, without VAR being around?
Eriksson. Burns, it's a little dangerous. Masraoui. And a comfortable catch for Muric as we head into the first of 3 minutes of Lexus stoppage time. And that's a nasty-looking blow to the head of Johnny Evans, and immediately medical staff on their way.
Yeah, it was launched, wasn't it, aerially by Muric. So like you can see, he's only got eyes on the ball, and it's his left shoulder that catches Evans. Completely accidental.
The VAR is just back in time to check it, and it has been cleared, as you suggested it would be, Graham. It's viewed as a genuine attempt to head the ball. Well, Amari Hutchinson will remember this for quite a while.
Yeah, it's that first touch. Look at that. Beautifully weighted touch. He's got fantastic balance, hasn't he? There, second touch out of his feet. He gives himself a better angle by coming into the pitch. Delightful finish. Been really impressed with him in this first half, and he's thoroughly enjoying himself out there, as are most of the Ipswich team at the moment. They're overrunning midfield. Morsey's been fantastic. And the balance between the three of them in there, with Kayuste, Hutchinson, who stepped in, and Morsey as well, are really producing some good quality stuff for Ipswich.
Eriksson. Obviously, we're here very much with a neutral perspective as Johnny Evans happily jogs back on down below us. But what an entertaining first half of football.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Obviously, United getting the dream start, but then looking very disjointed since then, and Ipswich growing into the game, looking like they really believe in themselves and what the coach has asked them to do, and are playing by far the better football so far. But look, United have got great strength on the counter-attack. So Ipswich have to be careful. At the same time, they can't allow too many players to get ahead of the ball.
Feisty moment involving Masraoui and Delap. Anthony Taylor, a former prison officer, getting between the two of them. All part of the show.
Again, showing a bit of personality. I mean, it's a foul potentially worthy of a yellow card, that. In the back of Masraoui in such a way, so blatant, but just letting him know that he's there. Keep an eye on the pair of them.
Offside flags up. And that is half-time at Portman Road, and what an excellent half of football. The perfect start for Ruben Amorim, with a goal scored by Marcus Rashford after 81 seconds. But then Amari Hutchinson spectacularly drawing Ipswich Town level. Truly intriguing. Coming up, Rebecca Lowe, Robbie Earle, Tim Howard, with highlights and reaction at half-time. And that's coming up next on Premier League Half-Time, which is presented by Samsung Galaxy.
For people who feel limited by the unpredictability of generalized myasthenia gravis, season to season, Ultomiris is continuous symptom control with improvement in activities of daily living.
What's up, SO peeps? Great to see you guys back here. We're doing something fun and different here on SOP Soccer. Manchester United every single game. We're doing right here on SOP. Thank you for hanging out with us. Let's create the best Manchester United fan club on YouTube right here on Sons of a Pitch Soccer Central. Now let's get back to the football. And yeah, check out my buddy True Killer on Discord and on Twitter. You want some EAFC games played for you and get your team looking really good and get some real superstars on your squad? talk the truth. Send him a DM. You'll hear from him later during halftime, and let's have some fun in the chat. Chat it up. Hopefully the new manager does well. Manchester United gets a W on the road, and we move forward. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys back in there.
Yes, you'll get a rental car on site.
Heads up. Oh, I'm gonna turn this down to an 8. My bad.
We can do this all day. Geico claim service is 24/7.
Hey SOP fans, my name's Drew. I'm a massive Manchester United fan and I'm also a pro EAFC player. Now today's a big game because it's Ruben Amorim's first game managing Manchester United in the Premier League, and we need to get those 3 points on the table. We need to see progression in terms of style of play and something that we can build on. I'll be the guy that's in the chat supporting the team. Hopefully we can get those 3 points like I said. Let's go Manchester United. Come on.
The Curse of Oak Island. New episode Tuesday at 9. Only on the History Channel. Next day on the History Channel app.
Boost Mobile's new 5G network has the amazing new iPhone 16 Pro. It's the first iPhone built for Apple Intelligence, which means we need to make a commercial, which means we need a hand model.
Oh, I'm a nail biter, so yeah.
Same. Oh, I don't know, guys. Do you think these will work?
No trade-in needed to get the new iPhone 16 Pro on us and the freedom to upgrade every year at boostmobile.com.
Like.
You're watching Premier League Half-Time presented by Samsung Galaxy. Manchester United were a couple of minutes away from going in at the break ahead. Instead, at Portman Road, it's Ipswich Town 1, Manchester United 1. Under Ruben Amorim for the very first time. We'll have a little look and a discussion about what we're noticing under Amorim. Tim Howard, Robbie Earle, Rebecca Lowe. But first of all, we're going to bring you those Geico first half highlights because it all happened for this man in the job for the very first time on match day. Very quickly, Rob.
Yeah, 81 seconds on the clock, Rebecca, and this happens. I'm in a wide position, wonder who the wing-backs would be. He's playing on that right-hand side. Does a brilliant job of getting himself into the box, and when he delivers, Marcus Rashford doubles his Premier League total for this season with his second Premier League goal. And just watch the run from Rashford here. And in some respects, I feel that Amorim playing him in a central striking role has simplified his role. Work as hard as he can, get into the central areas of the box. He does, he gets there first, he gets the goal. What a start for Rashford and Amorim as Manchester United manager.
In about the 15 minutes before half-time, Ipswich were on it, Tim.
Yeah, they didn't have their own way. You just see the lap here. Good little movement. Brilliant save from Onana. Absolutely brilliant save. You watch from this angle. If he puts it anywhere, it's in. But he decides to go with power, and I have to say, I think the way the goalkeeper spread, brilliant. And Hutchinson here starts to facilitate things. Thought Burns was good.
Has made an astounding save.
Have a look at this here.
He came out close to that, down 5 yards out. He smashed it against the keeper. I'm not sure really how much Onana knew about it, but he just had to stand up strong and make himself as big as possible, and somehow it's not 1-1. Hutchinson into the area, onto his left foot, bends it, top corner, brilliant. Took a deflection, Ipswich are level, it's the least they deserve, and it's Omari Hutchinson who scores a fantastic goal. Yes, he possibly had a bit of help from a deflection, but he's up and running in the Premier League. His first goal of the season. Makes it Ipswich 1, Manchester United 1. Yeah, and you have to say that Ipswich, I think it's fair to say, thoroughly deserve it. They've had more shots, they've been the more daring. Were they caught cold a little bit at the start of the game? Yes. And you thought, didn't you, that Ruben Amorim's dreams were going to come true, that it would all start with a nice and easy victory. But Ipswich have ensured, and quite fairly and squarely, that it has not been the case. You heard there the 2 goals. I mean, my word, that was a super save as well from Andre Onana. It turns out when Liam Delap was played through from about 8-9 yards out, it was an amazing save in the end. For a while, we both, Paul and I, thought that it had just hit Onana, but actually an outstretched right leg made sure that it was a right hand, I should say, made sure it was a really, really good save. But Paul, I mean, Ruben Amorim is going to learn very, very quickly. You know, we said how much can you work on when you've got 11 games in 36 days. But actually, you know, he's going to have a body of evidence with which he can analyse with the players that's going to be very, very big. And already he's going to have had that after just 45 minutes.
Yes, without that. And to be perfectly honest, we all know that he didn't just pop up straight away. He's known about this for quite a while, this job that he was coming into. So he knows everyone virtually inside out without actually meeting them personally. So he knows what he's got to try and do. I don't know if he's testing the situation out, but there is a lot of work to do. There's people there who shouldn't be there. We're seeing that again, that things aren't changing. This definitely hasn't gone the way it has with previous new managers, and there's always that good period. He's hit it, and he's hit it straight on, the issues with Manchester United and a lot of the players who are at that football club. So he's just going to have to find a way of actually getting through this season, I would say. He's going to have a lot. He's going to get good times, but I think he's going to get more poorer times and good times.
Yeah, difficult times, yeah. We didn't really touch on this, you know, like you mentioned about Garnacho, you weren't totally convinced. You thought possibly, you know, initially we thought maybe Dalot would be playing on the right side of the defence. It ended up being Mazraoui. Were you quite surprised, actually, that Rasmus Højlund wasn't in this team?
I'm going to say yes, because he's a centre forward who can only play and wants to play centre forward.
And he's the big type that Amorim has used with Gyökeres, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I think what he was looking at Marcus Rashford, he was looking at mobility, agility, pace. Yeah. You can have all of that, but if you don't want to run or work hard or really be there, you're not going to get a lot back in return. So somewhere along the line, he has to make a difference, make a change. Garnacho has to come off. It just has to come off, because again, he's one of them. There's only one role he wants to play, and he's showing out there that someone who is not enjoying what he's doing at this moment in time.
Who does he put in that position? What's the change that he makes to sort of put someone into that position? I mean, Xerxes, I guess, might be someone that sort of naturally fits the role. Maybe not necessarily in terms of the way that he wants it played, but in terms of being that slightly deeper lying player.
No, because then you're just putting on another Garnacho, someone who can't. He isn't quick. He hasn't got. It doesn't show great agility. I would put Ugarte in there, just someone who you know is, when he gets on the ball, he's not going to give the ball away cheaply.
But that's a change of system, then, isn't it?
Well, to be honest, really, there's no system out there at the moment.
No.
There's no system.
But they're supposed to be. I mean, Amorim is wedded to a system, isn't he?
At the moment, the idea of it at the moment is not to get beat in your first game as manager of Manchester United away from home at Ipswich Town.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing at this moment.
Yeah. So Ugarte and effectively a proper three in midfield.
That's in the moment. Yeah, I would go and to stop the flow at the moment and get someone who's going to have a presence on the pitch.
What are Ipswich doing that is good? Because, you know, it's inevitable in a first game of a Man United coach. We'll talk about him a lot, but they are out fighting, out desiring, out running, ironically, and maybe out qualitying Man United.
I think I would go with that a little bit. They're doing what they've done all season. They've compete in every single game. Every single player has got a work ethic. They've got even more of a work ethic because it's Manchester United, and even again more so because the manager has turned around and virtually told them about every single player and their weaknesses. They all know the strengths of them, but he has told them their weaknesses as players, their personality, their mental strength, and they're playing to it, and they're asking questions at the moment. They're saying, maybe saying themselves at half-time, they're saying, thanks boss, that info's been great, because they haven't stopped. They went 1-0 down within minutes, and they've just got better and better as the game's gone on. They've taken the game on.
And Ipswich look like a fully organised team with a plan, both with and without the ball. Something that Manchester United are yet to work out. Can Ruben Amorim work his magic again? If he can, we're 6 minutes and 20 seconds away from the next goal of the game here on Premier League Live.
The FC Shout Line is always open for you to vent.
Rodney, stop singing. You're a great footballer, but you suck at singing.
But we won't always agree with you.
I'll give you anything, my friend, if it makes you feel alright. 'Cause I don't care too much for money. Money can't buy me love.
Call the FC Shout Line anytime at 202-596-5880 on Sirius XM FC Channel 157.
Sports Grid Radio is the only 24/7 channel dedicated solely to sports wagering and handicapping. Legendary voice Scott Farrell leads our team of experts before, during, and after every game.
70% of the money was on the under. I bet the over and hit it.
Get the winning edge over the sports books. Find out who to bet, find out how to bet, and why.
They have entered as a -125 favorite. The number now is -500.
Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM Channel 159, and always on the Sirius XM app.
It's time to gear up for the NFL season. The new season brings new styles on NFLshop.com. Take your game day style to the next level with jerseys from all 32 teams, including new styles to 2024 and rookie jerseys. Head over to NFL Shop today for the largest collection of officially licensed gear from all your favorite brands. To shop now, go to NFLshop.com.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. Take control with Reputation Defender. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-391-9971 to speak to an expert.
All right, all the buttons are finally there. What's up, SO Peeps? Thanks for hanging out with us today for this Manchester United Ipswich Town matchup. 1-1 at the half. Let's go, True. Let's go, Man U. Let's get it done here in the second half. I'm going to be working on the audio, making sure we got the right streams going, all of that as well. Going to be dealing with trying to get the game cast into more of a realistic color because I don't like it. But other than that, it's a lot of experimental stuff today. During this one, we'll keep the audio going strong. What's up, Connor? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you, man. And then we'll hopefully we'll just work this Manchester United every single week thing out pretty solid here in the next couple of weeks. So, True, thanks for cheering on Man U in the chat, man, and thank you for going to kick some ass this afternoon on Champs, Foot Champs. Hey, anybody that's out here, check out True's stuff on YouTube as well as on TikTok at SOP True. Check it out. Guys, that's why I got the little eyes there. I'll put the link to the TikTok in the chat right now. Go follow that. We're gonna do some good stuff here on the channel coming up, and let's get back to the halftime. I gotta go winterize an RV too, so we'll get on that as well. And yeah, it is going crazy, True. That TikTok's doing awesome. So I'll put the link out to our TikTok right now in the chat, and then let's go, Man U. Heck yeah, lots of big things coming. We'll see you back in there. Go, Man U, go. Go, Devils, go. Red Devils, right? What? Come on, True. Give me all the nicknames in the chat. Let's go, MUFC. Woo! All right. Got to go back to doing dad things. Peace. So, Peeps.
True.
Sat alone, deep in thought, wondering just what is in store for his team as some of the young superstars on his bench make their way back out now. Kobbie Mainoo and Rasmus Højlund not coming on, that's for sure. And here come the two sets of players, Ipswich and Manchester United from the tight tunnel. United's players as we look to the right, and then they crisscross over. And the Ipswich players look bang up for this one this afternoon. And another second half like they played the first, Paul Parker, and this could end in defeat for the opening game of Ruben Amorim's tenure.
Oh, without a doubt, they've got to buck up. They've got to virtually start and continue as they did when just prior to that goal. Really, that's the way they've got to be, because after that goal, they've just deteriorated, to be honest. players went missing. They went absolutely missing as an attacking force.
He's got an interesting demeanour about him, hasn't he, Amorim? He came out full confidence and just left his players, presumably, in the dressing room. I wonder whether there was a bit of, you sort it out.
I think
already?
Well, I mean, you got to. I think you have to start that way. Sir Alex Ferguson started that way. He made it known exactly what he was looking for from people as individuals and collectively. And he got what he wanted in the end. He didn't want to befriend anybody. He just virtually told them as it is. He let players go, told them they could leave as well because he didn't want them around.
And by doing that, you know, he'll have his lieutenants in the dressing room, Amorim, won't he? And he might just begin to find out who the real leaders are.
Oh, yeah. I think that, to be honest, I think that's an easy job at Manchester United, to be perfectly honest. A really easy job. One of the easiest jobs.
Yes, exactly. I take your point. That United are shooting from left to right in this second half. They're just about to get us underway. VAR, by the way, is back up and running. It was just a few minutes that the game was technically without it for. It was not used during that period. So we are full complement of players and tech. No changes for either side at the break. And Manchester United, interestingly, it's not one of those sort of long kickoffs, as it were. They've passed it backwards. They're all the way back with Andre Onana at the moment, and it looks like they are very much focused on keeping the ball. So let's run you through the 11s again now. Ipswich have Muric in goal. The back four is Tuanzebe, O'Shea, Burgess and Davis. Then it's Morsey and Cayusta, Burns, Hutchinson, their goal scorer, and Schmodix and Delap. As Manchester United do look to break again down the left-hand side, and it's Dallo in an attacking position in behind Burns. He's just checked and turned back to Bruno Fernandes, who's going to attack the 18-yard box. Slips it in, left side, Garnacho! It's gone through Muric, but it's cleared inside the 6-yard box by Burgess, and Man United very nearly scored in the second half, even quicker than they did in the first.
Well, I just hope it actually just does get better and better rather than it done in the first half, to be perfectly honest, where once they scored it deteriorated. I mean, it was a good run by Garnacho. He's tried, I like to believe he's tried to pull that back. No, he looked like he was trying to shoot, to be perfectly honest.
The angle was ever tightening, but Muric got something on it and it took the pace off and allowed Burgess to clear. And I'm just going to quickly tell you the Manchester United team, as United have this throw-in. It is Onana in goal. Their back three is Mazraoui, De Ligt and Evans. Then in the midfield, it's Diallo right and Dallo left, with Eriksson and Casemiro. Then Fernandes and Garnacho supporting Rashford, the United goal scorer. Bruno Fernandes, of course, is the Manchester United captain. Morsey, the man wearing the armband for Ipswich. Garnacho gives it back to Mazraoui. Amad Diallo, very little from him after that burst for the goal, and then a similar one a few minutes after it. Otherwise, quiet himself. You'd say that about almost every Manchester United player. Evans gives it to De Ligt. Back to Onana. The oohs come from the Ipswich fans as Onana decides to go long this time. Headed away by Ipswich, and it's going to drop to Schmodix, tackled by Mazraoui. Will Diallo emerge with it? Does come to Garnacho, keeps it alive, gives it to Mazraoui. Clipped over the top by Casemiro, looking for Bruno Fernandes. He can't quite find it. Hutchinson gives it to Cayusta. Then Leif Davis wants the give and go. Hutchinson instead takes control of it. Morsey, diminutive but bruising figure in the midfield for Ipswich. Burgess now on the left-hand side. Looked even bigger when he stood near Morsey. Absolutely ginormous man, isn't he? Eriksson, little flick round the corner by Casemiro, and that was lovely until Rashford didn't make the run down the right-hand side, which Bruno Fernandes tried to find him. And I think already it's notable from both there and the pass into Garnacho for the attempt down the left-hand side that he has told Bruno Fernandes, you need to be staying higher up the pitch.
I think so. I'm not really sure. Sometimes you see him on the right touchline. Be honest, to be fair to him, he played the 1-2, didn't he, with Diallo for the goal off the touchline. But a lot, it seems like he just wants to hug the touch, and that's not his strength. You're getting nothing from him there. You've got to really, in theory, your first look when you're going forward is to find the ball to his feet. He's one of those players you look for.
Mazraoui down the right-hand side, sells a dummy to Davis and gets away lovely. Amad Diallo, now Garnacho tight to the right, checks, turns away from Leif Davis. What support has he got? Eriksson square. One more to Bruno Fernandes, and now what option has he got? Tackled by Hutchinson. Evans gets a toe in, but smacks it straight at Wes Burns. Defensive position, Burns. His long clearance is well beyond Delap, and Mazraoui has all the time in the world to pick up in the centre circle. At TalkSport Live to get in touch. Lee Hart's done so. Sorry I'm late. Listening to Lee's just win and go top. Still heading to Calgary. I'm pretty sure he's got orange juice in the back of his truck. Looking at a Great Lake ship in Toledo. No AI here. Oh, it's a long story that, Paul. There you go. One of it's still spectacular, but it's perhaps not as beautiful as some of your shots, Lee. But we love having you along.
Maybe spectacular in a kind of shipping kind of way.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's not as beautiful. If there is spectacular in a shipping way. There's a Cayusta just about turned before he was going to have it nicked off him by Garnacho. Warm applause from the United faithful for the press. They've not managed to get it there, and Muric worked it out to the right, and that's Paul from Mari Hutchinson trying to turn it wide for Tuanzebe. And United have it at the back with Evans, who's caught there by Hutchinson, stays down. And it's a free kick given against Hutchinson for the challenge on Evans. I think that was just more necessity for Evans. No, there is a foul in there, to be fair.
Yeah, he didn't get to the ball. I mean, he's done well. I mean, he's worked really hard off the ball, Hutchinson. And when he does get the ball, he seems to work just as hard.
It's a mismatch, isn't it? Hutchinson up against Evans with any type of chase on.
Yeah.
You know who's going to win it. And so that was Evans maybe getting a bit fortunate there that he got his toe in and that took the ball away from Hutchinson just in time. Mazraoui heads it away, but it drops only to Cayuste on the halfway line. Morsey now in the centre circle. Turns away from Bruno Fernandes. Nice bit of skill as well to then use the outside of his boot to give it to Hutchinson. Morsey. Tuanzebe. O'Shea.
Morsey is certainly growing into the top division.
Yes.
He's come from the lower division, and he plays the game like someone who I played with at QPR, who's become an England player, Peter Reid.
I don't think you're going to see Morsey playing for England anytime soon, to be honest with you.
No, but you know what I mean. Don't you?
I do
just
know
the way
exactly
he plays,
what you mean.
Doesn't give it away.
He's 33 and an Egyptian international, so that's definitely not going to happen. I take your point. Here is Wes Burns on the right-hand side, tries to cross, deflected to Delap, and that's another fine save from close range by the keeper. Comes out to Morsey, deflected off of De Ligt and wide, and Delap again knows that he perhaps should have given Ipswich a goal there, and it would have been the lead.
I don't think he could have done any more than what he'd done. He'd done the hard work with actually making a play. A lovely little run. You'd think, oh, that's enough there, I've done my bit. He holds himself at the edge of the box, just wanders in, and then he's the first one to arrive in the 6-yard box. United are static. De Ligt just stands still, and he back flicks it. He lets the ball run through his legs, off his heel, and I tell you what, he comes across Onana, hits him on a kneecap.
Corner came in. It's headed away by Manchester United. And so far, you might say United's man of the match is Andre Onana, and that tells you everything. High ball out to Leif Davis, heads it infield to Burgess, gets it back. Davis twists, turns, tackled, Ipswich ball. Off of Marcus Rashford in the right back position. Cayusta coming to take this long throw. He's going places, Kieran McKenna, isn't he? Even if it's not Man United just yet. And I don't think there's any doubt that that's an ambition for him at some point one day.
Why it could be Spurs.
Yes, it could be. Could be, as the ball gets delivered in. It could be anywhere, but you know, there's something about Man United, isn't there? It's the club. If you are the one that gets them back, if it's not Amorim, and we're ending that early, as Bruno Fernandes manages to release Garnacho. He's got Cayuste up with him. He's got Rashford square. Cayuste gets back at him. And that pace that Paul Parker talked about, Garnacho perhaps just lacking at the very, very top speed. Punishes Garnacho once again. Cayuste got back, but equally, again, Paul, could he have released it earlier?
Well, he could have looked and made the intention to, and he doesn't try and release it until it's too late. There was no way Marcus Rashford was getting onto that where it was coming from. It was far too late. The intent should have come from a lot earlier, and he was never going to win that foot race.
United's first corner of the game. They've got a good record from set pieces this season. Scored from 4 corners already. They've taken a short one. Fernandes comes back to Eriksson. There's the delivery in. And Muric makes the claim. Evans went in on Muric, who I don't think is very happy with him. Actually, he's all right. Yeah, it was some of the Ipswich players that weren't. And Evans was never going to get there, and that's a comfortable claim.
It was
decent handling, actually.
It was decent handling. It was just one of those balls that come in and can be made into a great ball. Just plenty of pace, low, looking for any kind of touch.
Here is Burgess giving it back to Muric. Awkward. Plenty of time for Masraoui to take it down on the chest. Casemiro gives it to Fernandes. It might open up for him here. Gives it to Rashford. Back to Bruno Fernandes, and he's blocked. He didn't fancy it on his left foot, I don't think, but Rashford gave him it back, and it forced him to shoot on his left foot, and the block was by Dara O'Shea.
Well, that's the first time we've really seen Fernandes do anything positive, to be perfectly honest, and it was a lovely little pass from Casemiro. The 1-2 he plays with Marcus Rashford was him when he's at his best, really.
And here come the changes, and we are going to see Luke Shaw, and we're going to see Manuel Ugarte, and I think that's it for Johnny Evans, and it's
Casemiro.
Felt like a big one today for him. He has found it tough at times, and Ugarte on for Casemiro as well, and so that will be a straight swap as well. And it's a good moment for Luke Shaw, and the Manchester United fans will be delighted, I think, to have him back. First time he's played in the Premier League since February against Luton, and he is, you know, whatever you think about his commitment to United, does he simply work harder for England than he does for United, or work harder to get into shape? Some suggest that. I'm not sure. I'd question his professionalism to that extent, but on his day, he's a world-level operator, isn't he, Paul?
Well, given everything that the way he's been, you can't question him as a footballer. You just it's his choices. When his choice was to go and be involved with England rather than put in the long game, which is his club, putting that first, and that's what's upset a lot of Manchester United fans.
If you're an England fan like me, you're delighted. But I do take the point of who pays his wages and all of that. Well, it was really interesting. I mean, you know, look, we know that we're not talking to an English audience here, but I did think that Harry Kane during the international break absolutely pilloried some of the players that went away and refused to play for England, or, you know, were injured, in quotes. A lot of them then went and played for their clubs this weekend. And very rare, that you hear Harry Kane speak out like that, but also he was like, playing for England is the pinnacle. It is more important than your club. And I thought, you don't hear players talk like that very often. I wonder whether he's allowed to say it a bit more because he's not on an English club now. He'd said that to Spurs fans. How would he have felt? I don't know. How would they have felt? Maybe at Bayern the feeling is a little bit different.
No, I think he was a little bit more coerced into that than anything. I don't think that was in his head to go and do that, in my opinion. I think I have to say as well is that when we look at it now in today's game, players are always going to put their club before country, because they'll see the Champions League as the pinnacle of football, rather than understanding that you go and you win one of the two competitions of your nation, then that's going to be the biggest thing of your life.
You can't tell me that the World Cup, even if the quality of the Champions League is better, I could understand that argument.
Oh, it's not better though.
The latter stage, you know, the mega clubs who've got the pick of the world players, in theory, as opposed to, you know, you get what you're given with an international setup. You don't think that the quality of the Champions League in the final stage is harder to win?
Not really. I think Champions League now is watered down, to be perfectly honest.
It's Diallo in a defensive setting. He's done really well there, actually, under a bit of pressure from Leif Davis. Gives it back to Onana. We're 13 minutes into this second half. United possibly have balanced things out a bit better in this second period, and they've massively improved their percentage of possession. It was 50-50 first half. In these first 13 and a half minutes of the second half, 64-36 in United's favour. So that is a distinctive change that Ruben Amorim has implemented.
And the one thing they have to do, though, is to get Fernandes more on the ball, and now Ugarte's on, they're going to have to look more for Eriksson for those kind of forward passes, because the person who was making the difference with the passes forward has come off now in Casemiro.
Yeah. I have to tell you as well, they've gone to a back four, haven't they? It looks to me like they've gone to a proper back four.
Let's have a look where Ahmad is. Ahmad is on the... He's on this right-hand side.
He has gone Mazraoui right, hasn't he? No, not right at this moment in time. He hasn't. No, just for a moment it looked to me like he'd gone straight into a full-blown back four. But no, you're absolutely right. He hasn't. Let's pull around the corner there, over on that far side from Dalot. Now Ahmad Diallo is chasing this ball on the near side, and Leif Davis has actually presented it to him. He's tried to flick down the corner, doesn't quite get it right. And Kieran McKenna is just trying to G his troops up a little bit more. His swarthy Portuguese opponent is prowling the touchline as well. Throw into Amari Hutchinson, being held up by Luke Shaw, who's come all the way over to this side of the pitch, the near side, almost like he's man-marking Amari Hutchinson. O'Shea gives it to Tuan Zabi. Pressure from Bruno Fernandes forces him back. And they work it right to Tuan Zabi. And Shaw with the tackle on Hutchinson. Shaw says that's our ball. It's not. It's a throw for Ipswich. What you would say is he does tend to come back fit from these long layups, doesn't he, Shaw? I mean, he lasted... Nearly, did he get the whole of the Euros final? I can't remember. Certainly most of it.
Yeah, but that's not remaining fit, though, is it?
No, but I mean, he comes back able to sort of last in games. So don't be surprised if he can keep the physical fitness if the sort of stamina is there for him.
I think that's worrying about him. The three at the back might suit him if he plays on the left. You put him as a full-back or a wing-back. The moment he starts getting tired, he gets lazy on his defending, he starts giving away cheap fouls. That's when you know that he's struggling.
Here is De Ligt, centre of the back three. To Mazraoui, just under half an hour left for play. Ahmad Diallo gets it from Eriksson, gives it back, gets it back down the line for him, in towards Garnacho. Rashford tried to lay it off to him, and Garnacho's actually ended up having to stretch with the... I can't quite decide whether that was Garnacho's fault for getting in the way of Rashford or if it was Rashford's layoff that was awful.
It was Rashford's layoff, but the Garnacho's run at full pelt. It wasn't really needed, the layoff. Rashford, the shout could have been from when it goes into Rashford was turn.
Lukate and Shaw combine and come back to Onana, and it's not been blood and thunder, has it really, from either side, particularly this second half. It's like we might be building up to a big crescendo, who knows. It was a rare early goal for Manchester United that gave them the lead in this one as they tried to force the ball out from the back once again. Good pressure from Smodic. Throw in goes United's way. But believe it or not, that was the first time they've scored in the first quarter hour of a game this season, Manchester United. Leicester now the only remaining Premier League yet to do so. Morsey gives it to O'Shea. To Anzabi, tackled by Bruno Fernandes. Fairly, Manchester United will break. Ball up towards Bruno Fernandes. I think that's over here. It is. And he looks back in anger at Ugarte, whose ball forward was well over hit. And it is Manchester United who have it at the back. And here is Onana for United. Ipswich might be readying a change of their own. Just has fizzled a bit for them, Paul, hasn't it? You could understand if McKenna's thinking of doing something a bit different.
I just thought when they got themselves going, there was always a threat. The moment they slow it down to Manchester United tempo, they struggled.
Mazraoui has it at the back. Onana under pressure from Delap. Passes it wide out to Shaw. Left foot ball up towards halfway. Rashford caught on his heels. And O'Shea was always going to win that one, and Rashford has to come back and foul him. Gets the abuse of the Ipswich fans. Free kick taken from the wrong place for Anthony Taylor.
That's the thing about with when you're playing Marcus Rashford. He's not a centre forward. He's not going to get his body right. He doesn't really want to do it. He doesn't know how to address the ball coming onto it. Not that Højlund is any better. Højlund's still learning it.
He's got the physical profile more.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So here comes the double change for Ipswich. Sammy Smodics rarely completes 90. Was involved when the Republic of Ireland were hammered by 5-0 by England at Wembley. But he is off, and so is Jens Kajuste. And it is, as you just heard there, Jack Taylor that's coming on. And we're also going to see another of their summer signings, Jack Clark. So the double Jacks, as it were. And another man whose birthday it was yesterday, Jack Clark. So we now got two on the pitch, Wes Burns and Jack Clark, who have come on, or who has come on for Sam Smodic. That is a straight swap. And we're also seeing Jack Taylor coming on, the Republic of Ireland internationals. The ball goes into the United box and Onana claims. And both really are straight swaps.
There's a big difference with Jack Clark, the way he plays. He actually gets on the ball when he sucks people in because he's quite confident in his ability to go past people, and he's a big threat when he gets one-on-one close to the box as well.
Old-fashioned winger, isn't he?
Yeah, I do enjoy watching him, to be perfectly honest. Had a really good season with Sunderland last year.
Yeah,
really good.
He did. Ahmad wins a free kick for Manchester United. Tight to this touchline on the near side, and it's going to be a double change for United as well, who will bring on Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee.
I think I know one of them who's coming off. Just trying to think who's going to Zirkzee. It must be, I'm going to turn around and say, it must be Garnacho.
So what, you're thinking Rashford and Garnacho?
Yeah. So either that was going to be Rashford and Ericsson, but then you're losing someone who's going to pass the ball, really.
Yeah, you'd be putting Fernandes in that position that he arguably lacks the discipline to play. This Shaw, left side of his own 18-yard box, two attempts at clearing it, blocked by Hutchinson, who emerges with it. And he play it off of Dalot. No, United managed to get it away. But they're still penned in down by their corner flag, really. Can Dalot clear? Now he does. Anywhere will do. Kept alive by Garnacho. Fernandes, first time ball forward. Rashford's off and after it. Gets there ahead of O'Shea. Shows too much to O'Shea. And the Irishman puts it behind for a Manchester United corner.
He made it easy for O'Shea, didn't he? Trying to turn through him rather than trying to keep the ball and go around him.
And here come those changes. And it is Ericsson for Joshua Zirkzee. And it is Rashford for Rasmus Højlund. So, he's back in the goals, Rashford at least. But he hasn't lasted the 90 again. And can Zirkzee or Højlund make an impact here? Naturally, you'd think Zirkzee fits the system a bit better as one of those sort of deeper lying attacking threats. Here comes the corner, again short to Shaw. Then Bruno Fernandes in. Ugarte was underneath the keeper, who caught it, fell to the ground, and then as he did, dropped it onto the back of Ugarte, and it could have gone anywhere. Fortunately for Ipswich, it dropped to a blue shirt and they managed to clear. Garnacho, Shaw, Ugarte into the centre circle for Mazraoui. It has been better second half for United. Not a whole host better, but maybe just in terms of the control they've had over the game. Is that fair?
I'd have to say so. They don't look a threat. That is
no,
the problem. Do not look a threat.
But Ipswich look less of a threat, and that's half the battle won, I suppose. Ooh. Although Mazraoui might turn into Clark here, he's done just about enough to turn away from Delap. And then what a ball that is, outside of his right boot, through three lines of players, up to Højlund. Højlund tries to square it for some reason. It might have opened up for him. Instead it ricochets back to Ugarte. Now he's Garnacho edge of the area, to the left for Dalot. Back it comes for Manchester United with Shaw. Garnacho. Dalot. Sure, they definitely need a natural left-sided full wing-back, don't they? They really do. Because Dallow is not the one there.
The problem is Luke Shaw, I don't think can play there. I just don't think he's got that. I think there'll be big problems when he hasn't got the ball.
What about the most left-footed player in the world, Anthony?
Wow. No, then you'll be asked.
If there is one thing you would say about Anthony is he doesn't half try and run around.
Yeah.
He would give them that.
Oh yeah, 100% right.
It's the quality, perhaps it's the issue.
And being on that left side means then he could only go around the outside, because if he steps inside on his right foot,
that's not the solution for him doing that. But then again, you saw where their goal came from. Proper drive down the right, cross with his right foot from Ahmad. Leif Davis just took the throw from on the field.
Yeah,
and it wasn't a foul throw. He was miles ahead of the line.
Honestly, don't look at it anymore. You look at throw-ins now. The ball hardly goes behind their heads unless they're taking a long throw. They seem to have given.
I'd love to see that again. He was so far ahead of the line. Of all, I mean, like you see, as you say, you see foul throws just missed game after game, but I don't think I've ever seen a player literally standing in front of the line. He was in the middle of the pitch.
I don't think they're coaching it now. They don't do it at kids level anymore. They tap it in off their feet.
Yeah,
which I think is wrong.
Nice touch around the corner by Ahmad, and back to him from Zirkzee. Just couldn't take it away there from
everyone's trying it.
Jack Taylor. And now here comes Ipswich with Delap. Delap puts his foot through it and puts it wide.
Yeah, there's definitely something about Delap when he gets on the ball. That's when they're a threat, really. And because he's out the game, Ipswich aren't really a threat. I mean, he's a powerful lad.
But some of his cute touches, we just saw two of them there. Yeah. We saw one earlier as well when he got the flick on from the cross from Burns that Onana had to save. United playing out from the back again under the Ipswich press. Mazraoui clears. He was caught as he cleared that. Zirkzee on, tries to find Hoyland, who wanted to spin away from Burgess. He is fouled. Is the big Manchester United Dane. Desperately trying to find a way through. To truly be Man United's number 9. Possibly doesn't quite have the same weight, the number 9 shirt at United, as the number 7, does it? But there's still been the odd player in there, hasn't there, in that 9, just over the years. So Andy Cole was one of them, wasn't he? I think?
Yeah.
I think who else has worn it in was it Louis Saha's shirt as well at one point? I think it was. Van Nistelrooy was in the 10, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I'm sure Saha wore the number 9. Man who effectively ended Van Nistelrooy's time at United, didn't he, by playing in that League Cup final. Van Nistelrooy was absolutely furious. Mazraoui, Zirkzee gives it away. Fortunate that it bounces back off of Taylor kindly for Manchester United, but they lose it again. Taylor, Hutchinson, Ipswich trying to build up to a head of steam right towards the end of the game here, you would think. Morsey. Burgess joins in. 15 yards inside the Manchester United half on the left. Back to Morsey. Now here's Taylor. To Anzabi. Manchester United forcing Ipswich back into their own half. And Ugarte has stolen in. Tackled, fouled, no, he thinks so, but Bruno Fernandes got it anyway. Plays it into the channel for Garnacho. Can he keep it in? Yes. Garnacho up towards the corner flag. Held up by Tuanzebe. Couple of step overs. Gets the ball across. Who's following in? Amad Diallo is saying it took a touch. So's Garnacho. It's going to be a throw in to Ipswich. That was much better from Garnacho.
Well, he's just driven to the byline. He gets there and just goes in too hard.
I think he's right, I think it did come off O'Shea.
Yeah,
it was a tiny touch off his head.
Too much power on it in the end, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. But equally, who was in there? Davis takes the throw for Ipswich. Delap can't make it stick. Ugarte to De Ligt. Ipswich 1, Manchester United 1. A scoreline that doesn't do an awful lot for either of these sides, frankly. But certainly Manchester United would have come here and thought, this is a chance for us to go and win. And try and make up a bit of ground. Zirkzee's caught out Ipswich here. Can he get there ahead of Muric? No. And then Muric has absolutely walloped that onto the head of the assistant on the near side.
No, I think he's hit his shoulder, to be honest.
Yes, yeah.
I think otherwise it'd have hit that microphone.
I think that's called Too Good, Too Bad on our national highlights show of a Sunday night, isn't it? That'll definitely be in there tonight. Amad Diallo gives it to Zirkzee. He's done all right with some of his touches since he's come on. He's won his team the throw in there. Amad takes the throw into Bruno Fernandes. Just allowed Taylor to take it, Clark to take it off of him, and then he's pulled him back, and it's a free kick to Ipswich. It was an unavoidable transfer to the Premier League, you think, for Clark, wasn't it, in the summer? You know, anyone that has the season like he did last year as a winger for Sunderland was inevitably going to get a move to a club who was in the lower echelons or on their way up into the Premier League.
He's a lead player, though. He needs, he's like a focal point on that left-hand side. He was stepping inside. He was just a massive problem for every team he played against, and he's just not playing enough football now.
Bruno Fernandes spreads the ball out to Garnacho. He's easily there ahead of Touan Zabi. Got support in the shape of Ugarte. What option does he have? He's really slowing it down. Of all the players that you'd think would know what Amorim wants, it's him. Shaw. Garnacho. Here's De Ligt. Mazraoui. Zirkzee. Zirkzee into Ugarte. Behind Bruno Fernandes to find Amad Diallo. Now here is the Manchester United captain. Zirkzee approaching the edge of the area. Might open up for a shot. Well, it did open up for a shot, but I mean, that was the shot of a centre half. Absolutely awful. Over a bar into Rosette.
It just wasn't set for it. I just thought to myself, no, you're not ready to shoot. You're not ready to shoot. And he shot, and he's off his instep. He's leaning backwards. He's moving. It was terrible. Terrible.
He's ready to press when this goal kick gets taken. It has done now, and Muric will go long downfield looking for De Lap. De Ligt is there first. De Ligt and De Lap. Sounds like a I don't know, #1 single or something, doesn't it? Not even on the same team. Here's Shaw. Infield to Garnacho. 10 yards inside the Ipswich half now. He'll try and release the ball down the left-hand side. And what's he gone down with? The Manchester United players is rolling around on the floor. It's Dallo. United continuing anyway, though. There's Bruno Fernandes. Dallo picks himself back up, gets the ironic applause from the Ipswich supporters. Bruno Fernandes, will it open up for a shot? Gets it to Højlund. Fernandes was brought down as he tried to get the give and go. Free kick in a really good position this for Manchester United. The question is, who's the set-piece specialist right now? Shaw, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. I'm just looking at it there. I'm just surprised that Højlund didn't see that Fernandes had gone down. He could have turned there himself, Højlund. He sees that Fernandes has gone down. He still gives it back to him. OK, some will say he's done it because he just believed that he must have been fouled. But what happened if he hadn't been fouled?
Well, he was. So, to all intents and purposes, moot, but he'll be happy. And this is one that looks like Bruno Fernandes is going to stand over and have a go at. Amad Diallo is also an option.
I don't know if that's... I'm looking at him, I'm just wondering, I haven't seen enough of him in this situation to take him. But he's there for a reason, we have to say.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to think that this is Bruno's.
Yeah.
Here we go, 4-man Ipswich wall. Up steps the captain. Oh, it's just wide of Muric's right-hand post. He was scrambling, he might have just about had it covered, but it got whip It had pace. And it's just gone the wrong side of the post as far as the Manchester United captain is concerned.
He had the keeper reaching, definitely reaching to his right.
Fluffier hair than normal, I would say, Bruno Fernandes today. Like he's forgotten his gel. Is he like Samson? Does he need it to really perform? Because it's not been one of his more inspirational performances today. Maybe he's had to be just a bit more disciplined. Is that part of the role under Amorim?
Maybe. I mean, you watch him play for Portugal, it's a different role, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
He's not the same player for his country as what he has been for his club.
Maybe he'd like that, actually. Maybe he'd like not to have to be the all-action player that he's forced to for Manchester United as Mazraoui goes down, clutching his head. He was caught there. And the treatment, of course, is swiftly administered. Manchester United 1-1 with Ipswich at Portman Road, which is quiet and tense going into the final 10 minutes. Remember, victory today in some ways as important for Ipswich as it is for Manchester United. This would be a reasonable juncture, by the way, to talk about Leicester, who have sacked Steve Cooper this evening. They are 16th in the Premier League after 12 games, Paul. It was, I always felt like a difficult role for a former Nottingham Forest hero, apart from anything else, but it hasn't really worked for them, has it?
No, I mean, I just remember that game when they played Nottingham Forest and what the Nottingham Forest fans were singing as well.
Yeah.
Virtually saying he'd rather be there than at Leicester.
True.
And I think as well, he kind of gave him a bit of respect in the way he acted as well during that game.
Couple more Ipswich changes. Wes Burns is coming off, and Connor Chaplin is his replacement. And a man who's really desperate to fulfill his potential in the Premier League as a striker now, Ali Al-Hamadi. I think it's fair to say that if they didn't have an injury to their backup striker George Hurst, he possibly wouldn't be the man coming on right now. But the Iraqi, the first ever Iraqi in the Premier League, is not just back in the squad, but coming on for what is just a fourth appearance. He is a striker. And they've also brought on Connor Chaplin for Wes Burns, usually a bit more central player than Burns, so I would imagine that Hutchinson moves wide. As we see the goals once again on our monitor, and it was tame defensively from Ipswich as they tried to defend Ahmad's run down the right-hand side. A couple of players just couldn't shove him off the ball. But the second was a super strike from Amari Hutchinson. I'm still not 1,000,000% convinced it was going in, but it's too difficult to judge, so it will be classed as Amari Hutchinson's goal. And step up in terms of goal scoring has taken a bit of time for him, but he's there now. And Ipswich will hope that he can add to that tally somewhat over the course of the remainder of the season. Hoyland beaten in the air by O'Shea. Ipswich emerge with it. Morsey to the right-hand side for Hutchinson, who, as I suggested, might have gone outside, and he has. Back it comes to Tuanzebe. Hoyland is going to go and close Muric down when it comes back to him, so he booms it long first time. Shaw heads it calmly into the centre of midfield to Bruno Fernandes, who tells Ugarte, turn it to Mazraoui, and that's it, exactly what he does. Mazraoui back to Fernandes on the right-hand side, into the channel down the right for Hoyland. Flag stays down. Hoyland. Amad Diallo. Bruno Fernandes gives it back to Mazraoui. De Ligt. Shaw. Here is Garnacho running forward, tackled by Hutchinson, runs through Ugarte. Now Manchester United attack down the left. That's a poor ball. Comes into O'Shea, who fires it off of Garnacho, and it ricochets into the goalkeeper's arms. And at this moment in time, and this isn't a signal to turn off, it feels a bit like it's petering, doesn't it?
Oh, it definitely is. It's lacking, has lacked a lot of surprise. Oh, it might be make the difference here.
Well, Dallow looks like he's got the pace to beat Hutchinson to that one, and he does, and clears it away. It's going to be picked up by a blue shirt initially, and it looked like Al-Hamadi and Clark, neither of them knew who to go for it as Hoyland lays the ball off for United. They work it down the left-hand side from Ugarte to Garnacho. Garnacho goes early in towards Hoyland, and it bounces once into the arms of Muric, who's been pretty much faultless, I think it's fair to say today. Keeper who has got a rick in him. Morsey. Tuanzebe. Morsey. Congolese once more. Zirkzee will now close down O'Shea, who's forced back to his goalkeeper. Ipswich 1, Man United 1. Just a shade over 5 minutes plus stoppage time left for play. Hutchinson gives it to Tuanzebe. He's not tested the goalkeeper of Ipswich very much. Manchester United today.
When you say not very much.
Just trying to think, here now I mention it. Has he made a save, a proper save? We had the Dallow header down to himself when he scuffed it to him, but that was more of a back pass, wasn't it? We had Eriksen's shot wide, and we saw Garnacho going through, didn't we, early in this second half when he really rather sort of scuffed a cross shot that Muric kind of went underneath the keeper and was cleared away by the defender. So he hasn't had a proper save to make. We're going to see Mason Mount for Manchester United. And it is Garnacho who goes off. Well, I think you probably picked up what one of the fans thought of that on our effects, Mike. Apologies if that sort of language offends you. Leif Davis is over this free kick. Silence descends upon Portman Road. Takes it short down the left for Clark, makes the run himself. Clark comes infield instead to Morsey, who miscontrols. Ugarte is quick out to him. It's a foul, surely. Referee's going to allow them to continue. Challenge there on O'Shea, but it's going to work itself down the right for Hutchinson. Up against Mazraoui. Mazraoui tries to hold him up. Hutchinson with a trick, keeps going. Great challenge that by Mazraoui. Really well done. Finding Mason Mount, who looks like he's going to lose out to O'Shea. No foul. Picked up, and there's the ball into the box for Clark. All sorts of time in the area. Went with it with his wrong foot. Cuffs it across. Through it goes. And Al-Hamadi, or Chaplin I think it was, at the final touch and surely should have scored. Instead he's clipped it into the arms of the goalkeeper.
I just wonder if Al-Hamadi got in the way there. Oh no, he let it go.
Yeah, it was Chaplin's tame effort in the end that probably should have given Ipswich the lead. And you would say they've had the better chances.
Yep.
Close range, easy save. United win it back again. Here goes Hoyland. Just runs into O'Shea, but here's Mount. Fernandes in the centre circle. Hoyland's available in that left-hand channel. He picks him out. Loads of time for him. Rasmus Hoyland, who's in the box. He moves it onto his right foot, knocks it into Bruno Fernandes, and then hits the Ipswich defender. I'm not quite sure what he was trying. De Ligt is under it. He loses out to Al-Hamadi, and then Shaw is back there helping out. De Ligt covers, and it's back with Onana. 2.5 minutes left for play.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what Hoyland was doing with that ball, because it was a terrible ball. He put back to Fernandes on his head. It just strange. The game has, I mean, again, now we're starting to hear the fans. It has picked up a bit, but not through quality.
Shaw has it on the left of the Manchester United defence. Through the lines up towards Mount. To the left-hand side for Dallow. That's pulled by Dallow infield beyond Ugarte, and it's straight to the blue shirt. But Al-Hamadi won't chase that one down. De Ligt can use the goalkeeper. Onana to Ugarte on the edge of his 18-yard box. Left for Shaw. Taking his time, as Man United have done all game, it feels. Up the touchline, out of play, throw in Ipswich.
Again with Dallow on the left-hand side, just needed You've got Luke Shaw there, who opens the game up on his left foot, and he gives it out wide to someone who's right-footed, who isn't comfortable taking the ball on that left foot, so he's playing everything, and everything's in-swinging, and there's quite a lot of times he's put the ball out of play, Dallo, because of it.
Here come Ipswich again over on that far side. With Hutchinson coming back to Tuanzebe. Tries to bypass Bruno Fernandes, actually bounces back off of him and out for a throw. Remember earlier on, Liverpool came from behind at Southampton to win 3-2. Topsy-turvy game in which Mo Salah got a double, including the 83rd minute penalty winner. Tuanzebe takes the throw down the right for Hutchinson, scorer of the Ipswich equaliser. There's the delivery into the box towards Al Hamadi. Amad Diallo heads down to his goalkeeper. And there's no rush about them. There's 20 seconds of normal time left, and there's absolutely no desperation to get the ball forward. He's still got it in his arms, Onana. Finally places it down, and then he passes it 10 yards to his right for Mazraoui. Zirkzee comes back to his keeper, Onana. He clears it long up towards Hoyland. Didn't have the desire to beat O'Shea to it. Zirkzee picks up the loose pass, gets it back from Amad Diallo. 4 minutes of stoppage time. Well, Manchester United going to fail to win at Ipswich and fail to win away from home for the 7th time in 8 away matches this season.
If there's anyone going to score late, I'd have to go with Ipswich. They've done it in all their championship winning seasons, their promotion seasons.
They are, and also just on the balance of the way this game has gone, you'd feel like they're more likely. They're more cohesive in their attack. Tuanzebe has it, turns away from Mount. Forward ball is nicely taken by Al Hamadi. Square into the centre circle for Clark, who volleys it out to the far side, overhit. And that's a Manchester United throw. And if this doesn't end 1-1, then I'll be amazed. Shaw has it. Onana has it. Wrong end of the field as far as Man United are concerned. The only good thing that's happened to them this weekend is that Bournemouth lost, and they actually moved up a place before they played, didn't they? On goal difference. So he has gained them a space in the table this weekend without even playing. Here's De Ligt taking all the time in the world defensively, like they're 3-0 up. Couple of passes between him and Onana, and then square to Mazraoui.
Just Diallo there, that was fantastic, stepping inside and was so in control of himself.
Bukayo Saka-esque, I'd argue. Yeah. Here's Hoyland now, left-hand side. Man United trying to come alive. Hoyland goes down under O'Shea's challenge. No foul, but it is a corner.
Seemed like he was playing for the foul, didn't he?
I think so, yeah. He wanted the contact. Literally, there are prayers being said in the Man United end. Prayers to beat Ipswich Town. Bruno Fernandes' delivery into the arms of Arianet Muric. Terrible. It's the first corner that they put in the box today. The other two have been short.
Well, there's a reason, because of the stature of the keeper, but in the end they just served it up for him, didn't they?
And I think that'll be that. They will have time to clear it, but we've got 30 seconds of the 4 minutes left. Away by Muric. Away from that by Mazraoui. Ipswich pick up. Al Hamadi holds up. Manchester United will get it away. Will they have time to complete the attack? Mount tackled in the midfield. It'll be picked up by Diallo. For me, there's 10 seconds left and it's at the wrong end of the field. Mazraoui, Diallo, they've got to get it forward. Referee has a look at his watch. Puts his whistle to his lips. There it goes. Ipswich fans are the ones celebrating. Ruben Amorim's time in charge of Manchester United is better than Erik ten Hag's first game, it has to be said, but it will be a disappointment for him, both results and performance. Marcus Rashford gave them the lead inside 2 minutes, but Amari Hutchinson's...
Have seen the scale of his task today, because even with players coming back to fitness, even though he stuck with the same formation, 3-4-2-1 effectively, even with the subs coming on, there's so much work for him to do.
Yeah, Henry, thank you very much. Full-time report comes from Mike Sewell.
Yes, Ipswich Town 1, Manchester United 1. It all got off to a really good start for Ruben Amorim when Amad Diallo tore down the right wing and sent in a cross for Marcus Rashford to convert. But for the remainder of the first half, Ipswich were the better team. They worked the ball really well through midfield and deservedly equalised through Amari Hutchinson, who cut in from the right and in trademark fashion sent a left-footed curler beyond the reach of Anana and via a slight deflection of Nussair Mazraoui. As for the second half, not particularly many chances. Liam Delap had 2 opportunities during the course of the game when he was denied by Andre Onana, who was Manchester United's best player. But other than that, the Ipswich fans certainly happier, even though it's another draw for them. 30,000 here today. Henry just mentioned 18,000 for the Rotherham game. A full sellout of 30,000. 3,000 of them were Manchester United fans, some of whom have stayed behind to applaud the players. 1-1, the final score.
Manchester United, as a result, 12th in the Premier League from 12 games, 16 points. Right now, they are 15 points off the top of the table. More pertinently, in terms of the top 4, they are a good 6 points behind Chelsea, Arsenal and Brighton. There is work to do. Ipswich into the bottom 3, but they've got 9 points from 12 games, the same as Wolves. Leicester just above them in 16th position with 10 points from 12 games, and Everton 11 from 12 on the way as well. West Ham play tomorrow night live on TalkSport, 12 points from 11 matches. That game kicks off at 8 o'clock. Away to our right, the Manchester United players trudge off the field. They know that they could have done a little bit better today, and we're expecting to walk away with more than just the 1 point that they have garnered. Henry Winter, thank you very much for your contribution today. Mike Sewell, thanks very much to you, and to Perry Groves back in the studio. I'll be seeing you next week. Appreciate that. Have a good journey back to wherever you're going, Pegs.
Going back to where you are. We might have crossed you on the train on the way home.
I'm in the car, so there's no chance of that.
Oh, yeah, so you got your chauffeured limo, haven't you? Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah. It's a Skoda, actually. And that isn't even a joke. Across the way from me, as the fans start to leave on the top of the cobbled stand, the Manchester United supporters, 3,500 of them here today. One of them puts up a banner. Good luck, Ruben. Make our club great again, says the banner. I think he'll need some of that luck. 03717223344. Alan Pardew and Madge are next.
To win your fantasy football league, you need to be one step ahead of the competition. And at SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, we're giving you the edge you need to take home the trophy.
There are no tight ends that you can count on. We will tell you who to start.
Our experts are doling out start-sit advice, waiver pickups, and so much more to help you win a championship.
Just because you're allowed to make a waiver move doesn't mean you have to make a waiver move.
Listen right now on Channel 87 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
Sneezing, coughing, stuffy nose, runny nose, post-nasal drip, interrupted sleeping. I was groggy at the end of the day.
Allergies and sinus congestion were making Jana miserable. Then, a friend recommended Navage. Navage provides immediate drug-free congestion relief, flushing your nasal passages with refreshing saline and sucking out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Navage helps you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel your best right away.
Navage gave me instant relief. I didn't have to wait 30 minutes. I didn't have to wait an hour, 90 minutes. I didn't have to wait a minute. I ran the rinse and I felt better.
Stop suffering from congestion and start breathing and feeling your best again with Navage. Navage.
I've had people ask me how I find relief, and I tell them Navage immediately. This thing is amazing.
Navage is available at Navage.com or at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid.
Engaging Soccer Talk. SiriusXM FC 157. SiriusXM FC 157.
Your home for the world's game is SiriusXM FC 157. SiriusXM FC.
This is SiriusXM Radio.
SiriusXM FC 157.
Talk Sport. News.
Good evening, I'm Alex Dibble. A major incident's been declared in South Wales after hundreds of properties were flooded during Storm Bert. More than 80% of November's average rainfall came down in less than 48 hours. The AA's Gareth Jones is also warning of treacherous driving conditions in many parts of the UK.
I've just driven from the Midlands to Hampshire, and lots of people are getting the basics wrong, driving too fast for the conditions, getting too close to the vehicle in front.
Meanwhile, a body's been found in the search for a man who went missing in North Wales yesterday, and there are concerns government plans to allow assisted dying will put too much strain on judges and the courts. The controversial proposals are being voted on in Parliament this week.
Talk Sport with Bostik. If you need a professional grade sealant with high mold resistance, easy tooling and minimal shrinkage, choose Bostik Pro Sealants.
Away from United's draw at Ipswich, Leicester have sacked Steve Cooper after 5 months. They're 2 points clear of the relegation zone, but TalkSport understands much of the squad were unconvinced by him. A comeback win at Southampton sent Liverpool 8 points clear, while Leeds have gone top of the Championship.
What's up, SO peeps? Great to see you guys back here. We're doing something fun and different here on SOP Soccer. Manchester United, every single game we're doing right here on SOP. Thank you for hanging out with us. Let's create the best Manchester United fan club on YouTube right here on Sons of a Pitch Soccer Central. Now let's get back to the football. And yeah, check out my buddy True Killer on Discord and on Twitter. You want some EAFC games played for you and get your team looking really good and get some real superstars on your squad? Talk to True. Send him a DM. You'll hear from him later during halftime, and let's have some fun in the chat. Chat it up. Hopefully the new manager does well. Manchester United gets a W on the road, and we move forward. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys back in there.
Good evening and welcome to the Final Word Phone with me, Majestic, alongside the former Southampton and Charlton manager, Alan Pardew. Two of the biggest teams in the world took to the field in the Premier League today, and their games didn't disappoint. We're just in a very lively affair at Portman Road as Ruben Amorim's Manchester United tenure got underway with a draw against relegation-threatened Ipswich. So United fans, did you see some sunshine in the gloom you've been going through? And earlier, Liverpool went 8 points.
Now, today's a big game because Hey SOP fans, my name's True. I'm a massive Manchester United fan and I'm also a pro EAFC player. Now today's a big game because it's Ruben Amorim's first game managing Manchester United in the Premier League and we need to get those 3 points on the table. We need to see progression in terms of style of play and something that we can build on. I'll be the guy that's in the chat supporting the team. Hopefully we can get those 3 points like I said. Let's go Manchester United. Come on.
Phone in here on TalkSport. That's right, good evening and welcome to your Sunday night therapy for a lot of people. Imagine Pards here on TalkSport. How are we, Pards?
Very good, man. Yourself?
Well, what difference a week makes in football, eh?
Your team was absolutely excellent, wasn't it?
Oh, mate, I'm still buzzing. It was brilliant. I couldn't... being a Spurs fan is the only position where you can be three goals up at 82 minutes and still think you could lose it.
Oh, you do have those nerves set in.
Honestly, 82 minutes gone, I looked at the clock and thought, we could still lose this.
Well, when I looked at the setup of your team, you obviously with two first-team centre-halves both missing, or the first choices, you would say. I was thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to be a tough afternoon, I think, with that high line and everything else and set plays and all over the faults that you have. No, on the contrary, perhaps the performance of the season, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was very good, and I'm sure we'll go into it a bit more later on. It's a shame I went on air after that yesterday. I did pop on to speak to Rory Jennings, but we're going to have to talk about, of course, Manchester United. 1-1 just then for Amorim. Do you think you'll be happy with that as a start?
Well, I think, you know, in terms of the work time he had, which he's got like 3 sessions, maybe 4, to get his message across, I think give him a draw. Would he have taken that before the game? Probably. Certainly at the end he would have taken it because Ipswich threatened a lot more than I expected them to. You know, and they had a couple of chances, half chances at the end. Kind of petered out the game a little bit. But, you know, in terms of what he's got to work with. I think he'll have more questions asked in terms of the performance than answers. And what you want as a manager is answers. You will say, oh, well, he's definitely the wing back. He's definitely the centre back, and we'll build from there. But I think he had a lot more questions there.
I'm just looking at our running order. We like a laugh on a Sunday night, don't we, Pards?
Yeah,
you like this one, yeah? It says 3 of Man United's starting players were over 100.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. I'm surprised at the side he picked. I see a load of, pundits or whatever people like me are called, sort of selecting their 11, and I didn't think anyone got it right. It was like they were expecting, a bit more youth in the team, etc., etc. So it was a strange setup, Casemiro and Eriksen in midfield, Evans at left side, centre-back. It was a strange calls there.
And listen, I never write off a player just because they're a little bit older.
No.
Even on my Saturday team, one of the best defensive pairings I ever saw. One was 65, the other was 60.
Oh, come on.
Go on, listen, Peter O'Grady. Remember that name. He's the GOAT for me. Right, let's go over to the phone line straight away because Dan was at the game. He's an Ipswich fan. Good evening, Dan.
Hi, Madge. Hi, Pods.
How you doing, mate? You right?
Yeah, brilliant, mate. Yeah.
Listen, you've gone to Spurs, got 3 points, and I tell you what, you was unlucky not to get the 3 points today. You must be happy.
Absolutely, Buzz. Yeah, brilliant result. I thought before the game we got a chance to get a result. Maybe not on a new manager, but we've not been the best team this United. But we've played a lot of games. We've been unlucky in a lot of our games this season. We've scored.
I was going to say that because when you come to Spurs and beat us 2-1, and it was you can't lose to Ipswich. I was like, you can lose to Ipswich. I've watched all of your games this season, and you've been unlucky. It was coming. That win was coming. So, to take those points. 4 points out of 6 against Tottenham and Manchester United, 1 being away. That's got to give you some positive sort of energy towards perhaps staying in the division.
100%. And with our run of games coming out of this game as well, now we've got Forest away next week. Then we've got Palace, Bournemouth and Wolves.
Okay.
So it's some games that we can hopefully get some points, 2 of them at home as well. So,
I mean, I thought today that Delat was absolutely exceptional. As a striker playing against Man United, that was as good a performance as I think he could have managed. And he was desperately unlucky not to get the second goal, wasn't he? I don't know if he was you at the game, was you?
Yeah, I was there at the game. Yeah, I was unlucky,
Yeah, very unlucky.
I'll tell you also, Amari Hutchinson, what an absolute player he was today. He was absolutely unreal today.
Yeah.
He's
good player.
Started slow this season, but the Spurs game, he was brilliant at Spurs, done what he needed to do, and then today, the goal he scored, and he had... Yeah, United full-backs and toast at times. He was absolutely brilliant.
I'm just looking at your fixtures. As you mentioned, you go away to Nottingham Forest. There, of course, they want to sort of amend the sort of losing to Arsenal the way they did at the weekend. But Everton go to Manchester United and Leicester go to Brentford. So the teams around you have got the possibility of dropping points next week. If you could get a result of Forest next week and get out of that bottom 3, all of a sudden you feel like there might be a bit of momentum with Ipswich.
Well, it is, yeah, and we'll say we're unbeaten. I'm beaten 3 again now. The Leicester game, we were very unlucky. We got that, and they equalised in the last minute, and we had the penalty that was never given, and that could have been looking so much rosier than it is now. But teams are getting dragged into it now. Around us, Everton are getting dragged into it. Leicester.
Yeah, there's so much so. Leicester, of course, sacked their manager because they know they're being sacked into that relegation battle already.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm still optimistic. I think. It's been saying the games this season, we've been very unlucky. We've only been torn to pieces, West Ham tore to pieces, and obviously City, when we were a bit naive, we went 1 up quite early, and then we got torn to pieces and lost 4-1. But other than that, we've not really been outplayed. We've been in every game.
Yeah, no.
Naive at times that can make goals and stuff like that, but...
Absolutely agree with you. Thank you, Dan. Dan Ipswich fan, he was at the game today, which finished a goal apiece for Manchester United against Ipswich. Not the dream start for Amorim.
No, the expected goals today was 1.7 for Ipswich and 0.9 for Man United, which is not what you'd expect, especially with his first game. In those kind of stats, the stats that he needs to improve massively in terms of being Man United manager. 6 shots on target for Ipswich, 4 for Man United today. So, those big numbers, the numbers that a lot of pundits and media and fans look at as to sort of a reflection other than the result are not looking great either.
Of course, on the other end of the table, Liverpool have gone 8 points clear this evening. Went 2 goals to 1 down. When that came up on my phone, I couldn't believe it. I told my son, Leo, I just said it's not going to finish like that. There's no way it's going to finish like that.
There's only 3 managers who've got 9 wins out of 10 games. Do you know the other 2? Chelsea managers. Any idea?
Oh, in the Premier League era?
Yeah, Premier League era.
Jose?
No.
Oh, really? Conte?
No.
Ah.
Angelotti was one.
Okay.
And Hiddink was the other.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, for a slot, to get 9 wins in 10 games, amazing. 31 points, they sit up there. Incredible.
Let's go over to Sean as a Liverpool fan. Evening, Sean.
Sean?
Yeah.
How are we, mate? You all right?
Yeah, it's been a great weekend.
Sean, your line's not the greatest. Let's try and get Sean back in a moment.
Yeah.
The line's not the greatest at the moment. Let's go to Mark, who's also an Ipswich fan who was at the game today. Evening, Mark.
Evening, fellas. You all right?
Yeah, very well. Listen, I mentioned to Dan just a moment ago, who's also an Ipswich fan, 4 points out of 6 when you go against Spurs and Manchester United. That's the kind of form that's going to keep you up in the division.
Yeah, listen, I mean, the result against Spurs last week was a massive win for us, first win of the season, and then, coming up against United today, which probably would have been like a bit of a new manager bounce for most people, but I think we dealt well with it today. And I think, we probably could have won it, to be honest with you. I mean, I know it was one of those sort of games where certainly the first half we were probably the better side. Second half, I think the intensity sort of ran out a little bit for us, got a bit tired, but ultimately we probably could have won it. So, I'm really proud of the boys today.
Yeah, and I have to say that I thought you played with great belief today. Even though you say second half you ran out a little bit of steam in terms of energy, but the belief was still there, wasn't it? You were still trying to win the game. You weren't like sitting back going, "Oh, well, let's just hang on." There's a good philosophy there that he's building.
Yeah, I think that's what's been for McKenna since he's joined the club. From when we were in League One, as soon as he's taken over, he's given this side belief. And again, like looking at these players out on the pitch today, a lot of them are League One players, Championship players. So to come up against United, as I say, new manager bounce today, and it's still a decent side. It's still Man United at the end of the day. So
absolutely.
For me, I thought we did really well.
Yeah.
Brilliant, cool. Thank you very much, Mark. Ipswich are a bit like my little soft spot team this year. I had a soft spot for Luton last year. I wanted Luton to stay up. Ipswich.
This is your team.
I like what they're doing. I like what they're trying to do.
I just must correct Mark, because they're not First Division Championship players, they're Premiership players.
This is it.
Once you're there, you're there.
Yeah.
And it's always on your CV. But, I know what he means in terms of where they've recruited from. And, and I still believe a lot of the Premier League miss some absolute gems down the divisions. They really do.
Well, all you have to look at the time, Dele Alli, £5 million from MK Dons.
Absolutely. You can name loads and loads and loads. But I still think, when you do look at the Championship, you still find some jewels in there that, that are far better than some of these foreign players that we end up paying a lot of money for.
Go on, Parts.
Yeah.
So has Ruben Amorim realised just how big the job is at Old Trafford after that draw at Ipswich? And Man United fans, how many of the starting 11 do you want to see come next season?
Ooh.
Liverpool fans, will you be walking in a Mo Salah wonderland come May after another performance of champions today, especially from King Mo himself? 03717 223344 is the number to call right now on the Final Word phone in here on Talk Sport.
This week, Howard Stern welcomed for the very first time, Cher.
So I Got You, Babe comes out, and now all of a sudden you're famous. It's on the radio.
We knocked the Beatles off the charts.
Over an hour of captivating conversation.
I've liked some of my songs, but most of them have been ones that weren't hits.
I mean, who sells 140 million albums?
I don't know.
No one.
Listen or watch the full interview with Cher now on the SiriusXM app.
Hi, this is Tommy Smith from Grumpy Pundits. Are you upset about how your football team is doing? Does your club need a new manager? Do you just need someone to vent to? Well, the SiriusXM FC shout line is open 24/7 just for you. Call us anytime, 202-596-5880, and get whatever is bothering you in the world of soccer off your chest.
Do you suffer from plantar fasciitis, back, knee, or hip pain? I'm Stu Sakowitz, owner and inventor of Pine Valley Orthotics. We hand make them in New Jersey, and thousands of golfers from all over the country have called to tell me how amazing they feel. $99, and if I can't make your pain go away, I will happily refund your money. Call me at 866-443-7463. I even answer my own phone, or go to pinevalleyorthotics.com. Your feet will thank you as much as I do.
Most trucking companies are hiring.
So why should you consider a move to Crete Carrier or Schaefer Trucking? Just ask our drivers.
I did my homework, and that's how I found out Crete was a great company. Everything my recruiter told me was, in fact, the way it was. And, it started off that way. I never thought it would work out like this,
Visit us at CreteCarrier.com or call pound 250, keyword Crete.
Full-on fan reaction. First.
Oh, that's it!
The final word phone-in on TalkSport.
Good evening. This is the final word phone in here on TalkSport with me, Majestic, and former Newcastle and West Ham manager Alan Pardew. Of course, those two sides face each other tomorrow in the Premier League on Monday Night Football. Earlier on today in the Championship, a thrilling affair between Swansea and Leeds. That saw Leeds go to the top of the Championship with a goal in the 91st minute. Wow, we're just watching the highlights there, Pards. Limbs.
Well, I mean, what a result for Leeds, because, they've been sort of in and around it, but now they're top. And, with that fan base and the side that they've got, you'd like to think this could be the year. I certainly hope so, because I think the Premier League needs Leeds United. I've always thought that.
And Sunderland on the same points as well.
Yeah, and Sunderland are going great. And you look at the goal difference,
Sheffield Leeds, United are the same points as well, just to play the game more.
Yeah. It's the goals for column and the goals difference that I always look at. Leeds a 16 goal difference, Sunderland 14, the best in the division, and that's why they're at the top.
Absolutely, and you just look literally from 1 to 10 there. The names: Leeds, Sunderland, Sheffield United, Burnley, Middlesbrough, West Brom, Watford, Millwall, Blackburn, and Bristol City. Be great all of them Premier League worthy.
You could actually look at some down the bottom, that are exactly the same. Queen's Park Rangers are bringing up the rear. What is going on down there?
I know.
Incredible, but it's such a tough division, that.
It really is. Let's go over to David. He's a Liverpool fan. He was at the game earlier. Evening, David.
Oh, he's okay?
Yeah, very well. Not as happy as you must be. 8 points clear at the Premier League at this stage of the season. After Klopp's gone, Slot's first season. What are you making of it?
I think Arne Slot's exactly what we were hoping for. I think he's reassured. I know Klopp, the way Klopp played, I thought at times it was a bit erratic, but I think Arne Slot brought a bit of composure to the Liverpool side.
A massive week for you coming up. That home game in the Champions League against Real Madrid, and then it's Liverpool City. Now, Pep Guardiola doesn't want to lose 6 in a row. That's for sure. And if you beat Manchester City next weekend, is that the title race done already?
I'd like to say yeah, but I mean, we've thrown away stuff in the past, so I'd like to think that if we go 11 points clear, we're going to pick some more points up. But that City side, they just never go away, do they? That's the thing.
No.
And don't forget the Arsenal, by the way. Arsenal are still in and around it.
Well, yeah, it's a good side, but I think, I don't know, they just don't seem a bit inconsistent at the moment.
I think the difference is, I think over the last couple of seasons, Arsenal's go at trying to win the league has fallen off. Whereas, as you're saying, David, we know this Manchester City side can be relentless, and when they turn it on, we know what the outcome is. They end up winning.
What did they go 20 games with, without defeat or something, or 118 of them, ridiculous stat. But I personally feel that Liverpool are in a great place, and if you can keep your key men fit, going through to past the Christmas period, you got a great chance. There's no doubt about that.
He's creating a bit of a at the moment, like the Curtis Jones, I've always thought he was on the cusp of being a really solid player, and he's starting to have a little go on the side, and anyone he brings in, creating that bit of consistency now. So I'm hoping this is the year we do it again, because I thought Klopp should have won a lot more than he did, and every time we bring Klopp up, it's always we didn't win enough and stuff. But everyone in Liverpool loves Klopp, no matter what he won and what he didn't win. So
when he won your first Premier League, he'd always been loved, and Champions League wins, and he was a successful manager. We just live in an era where we've had Pep Guardiola there as well.
Yeah, I know, and to be honest, they've lost 5 on the bounce, but should they lose 5 on the bounce? No, because that squad they've got is ridiculous, and because they've took a few players out the side, he should be getting a lot more stick. than he is getting at the moment. I know he's won a lot of trophies, and he probably
just signed a bumper new contract, by the way.
Well, I'll tell you, it would be interesting to see if there was any kind of punishment at the end of this, process with the FFP and all that.
Didn't he get the sack?
No, he's already said, he goes, if he went down to Division 2 with Manchester City, he stays with them, which would be, imagine going up against Pep Guardiola's Man City against Port Vale.
Yeah.
Brilliant call there from David, who's a Liverpool fan. Let's go, it's our first Man United fan of the evening. Let's go over to James and see what he made of today's game. Evening, James.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah, very well. First game under the new leader, Amorim. What did you make of it?
I mean, I've just watched it, and honestly, I think they've got a long way to go. I think anyone, I'm going to be pretty honest here, anyone who's watching this game and thinking, we got a new manager, a new bounce, and they think they're going to go to Ipswich and, smash them 3-0 or something, I think you're crazy. I think there's no way with this team that they were going to have a strong performance. And thank God for Onana. I mean, I think he did, 2 amazing saves, honestly, testing the game. The fact that it was 1-0 is a miracle. I don't understand how. I mean, he's only been in a week, Amorim now. So you can make the excuse that he hasn't had a lot of time to really get the tactics down and all that. And I'm not sure how I feel about Rashford as a centre forward and this whole idea of having Bruno behind. I feel like it's not really set up for them. I will say though that Diallo had a pretty good game. I think he's making good runs, and I feel like runs is what we really need in this Man United team. I'm just looking at the fixtures now. We got Everton at home next week. We can't beat Ipswich. Well, the thing is, people are probably thinking, it's just Ipswich, so, it should be an easy game. But then I'm also thinking it's just Man United. Man United aren't the same team they used to be. Anyone who's thinking that, from the Fergie days, it's not.
Nowhere, not even close. And, I think Amorim has gone in there, and I think, as I said right at the top of the show to you, Madge, I think he's got more questions today than answers in terms of that performance, because he's probably looking at this squad and looking at his sporting squad and thinking, wow, what have I actually got here? Because when you look at the back four, well, the back three as it is now, that doesn't, fill you with confidence. The legs in the team, Ugarte, Mount and Manu, were all on the bench today. He didn't trust them for whatever reason to start his first games, and that's a bit of a concern. But, when you look at that team, it's not, and they were average today. Whatever way you look at that was an average Man United performance, regardless who the manager was. Yeah, absolutely. In terms of players that shouldn't be starting next season for you, James, who's top of the list for you?
It's hard to say because a lot of these, especially older players, you can maybe have a soft spot for, but then you got to think, do the price tags for them really, justify it? You got to wonder what's going to happen even in this January in the transfer if he's really going to do anything. I honestly think he needs to. I don't know how he's going to make that work because he's got a system that he's clearly very eager to try and mould these players around. But I bet he's really wishing he brought Gyökeres from Sporting. Yeah. I watched some videos earlier in the week, in the run up to Amorim coming in, and they were all saying that Højlund, he could be that Gyökeres. They could mould him, just give him time. But when you're looking at the upcoming fixtures, Everton next week at home, maybe that could be a winnable game, and it'll after this week they'll have a talk and sort things out. But then you get Arsenal. I mean, I think they're going to get butchered for that. Well, City 2 weeks after. You look at Gyökeres. He's playing for Coventry for a long period. He looked the best striker in the Championship to me by a mile. No one took him. And Sporting, he went to Sporting in the end, and he looks like he's going to come back for about 80 million, 60 to 80 million. It's incredible. So, you're talking, in my opinion, a different level of player to Højlund at the moment. Højlund is a long way from where Gyökeres is playing, in terms of the level. Yeah, definitely. But, as you say, January will be interesting because the problem Man United have always found, and you always find, for example, if I'm Newcastle manager or Crystal Palace manager, I want to take a Man United player who might not be fancied. It's the money. It's always the money. It's just too much. It's too rich.
So, to actually move some of those players on, Madge, is going to be difficult because of the salary and, the commitment that you got to make.
Well, this is the argument I was having with someone the other day when we're talking about Spurs and comparing the businesses. I'm like, you got to understand that Daniel Levy's not going to do that to Spurs and have people on the money that some of these players are on. 400 grand a week, Casemiro's on. 250 grand a week, Mount's on.
32 or 33, whatever he is.
It's just, and all of a sudden, like you say, especially the way they've chopped and changed managers, as have we, manager comes in and doesn't fancy him. You've got someone on the bench with another 3 years at that money. It just doesn't make any sense. It's poor business. Let's quickly go over to George, who's a Chelsea fan.
Oh, go on, George.
Evening, George.
Hello, guys. Great shows as always.
Thank you, mate. You've got to be pleased with Chelsea this season.
I'm a regular caller. You probably recognise my voice. There's a couple of things I want to just pick up before I move on to my beloved Super Chelsea. The first thing, what that caller was just saying about Man United, people might say it's not my place to say, but I'm a football fan. I like, all football. I love it. They're a long way off Man United. I always Man United like with a big, burly striker up front or banging goals left, right and centre. They just look lackless at the moment. And anything that comes, it makes me laugh. Anything that comes out of Portugal, that the press stick this, it's the next Jose Mourinho on it, and it's not like that. Jose Mourinho was a completely different breed. He was cut from a different cloth to other managers. You know what I mean? But anyway, moving on to Chelsea. Everyone keeps on looking at Arsenal, right? Let's just get one thing right. The table doesn't lie. We are above Arsenal. Might be on goal difference, but we're above them. Okay. I think when you look at our squad, you look at our team, you look at Maresca, what he's brought a togetherness. He knows his best 11. We've got depth in that squad. We've got big depth. We've got talent. And I think we'll be pushing. Now, Liverpool, what I saw today when I watched it, my wife's not happy with me because that's all I do is just watch football. So, like, when I watched Liverpool today, to be honest with you, hand on heart,
they didn't play well today.
They got a wobble coming up. Southampton gifted that to them. They gifted them. And Southampton...
But I also think Liverpool have got two massive games this week, and sometimes when I used to look at my team, if there was a big game coming up, I always think they got one eye on that maybe, and I think they did today. I think they just weren't quite at it. So I take your criticism of their performance today on that. Going back to you, you've been terrific. There's no doubt about that. And when I talk about Chelsea here, what about Jackson? By the way, he's a revelation this year, isn't he?
Well, Jackson, another show that was on, Darren bet me for charity that Solanke would score more goals than Jackson and Nkuku this season. Well, I think he's going to owe me a bit of money at the end of the season. Well, charity of my choice. But a couple of weeks ago when I came on, Alan, and we were just leaving Liverpool, and we'd lost 1-0, obviously, and we spoke, and you said, because I said Chelsea will be pushing, Chelsea will finish in that top half, if not push all the way. I really strongly believe that. But you said to me, you think we'd come above Villa, we'd come above Newcastle, we'd come above Tottenham. How do you feel now about that?
Yeah, I still see Liverpool, Man City and Arsenal above you at the moment. I do. And I think Arsenal have got less points than I expected, and I think they're going to be strong, particularly now everyone's coming back from fitness. Ormagoid obviously made a massive difference yesterday. So I still think that the ingrained ability and knowledge of them three teams where they are in the last 2 or 3 years are just above Chelsea, and I think that'll tell. But I'm open for it to be wrong. No, and I have been wrong many times before. So George, we'll see.
Brilliant, cool. Thank you very much. A very excited Chelsea fan there.
And there's nothing wrong with that. No, because Chelsea, do look like they've got all the sort of
ingredients.
Yeah, and they got the tools. They got the manager looks like comfortable, doesn't he? Doesn't look like he's sort of, some managers you look at and they look like they're straining in the job a little bit, but he's definitely not straining. He's relaxed and, his team's playing well. Yeah, good, they're in good shape, Chelsea.
Yeah, but again, I think injuries will play a massive part in that. And I don't know if you saw yesterday, Cole Palmer was getting kicked to pieces.
He did get that tackle on him, but indeed it was it. I can't remember. It was a terrible tackle.
My old head of year from school, big Chelsea fan, John Carthy, his name.
Big John.
Big John. And
don't mess with John.
Don't mess with John, trust me. He said, look, topic 1 for discussion, Cole Palmer must be protected by referees. Because he was getting kicked to pieces yesterday. And I'll tell you what, if he ends up getting injured, when he's not in that side, if he's not playing well, Chelsea don't play well.
Well, unfortunately for Palmer, he's going to get, this sort of attention. I think I mentioned it on 2 or 3 shows before, that he's coming into a different criteria now. He's going to be man-marked, he's going to be really pressurised, and he is going to take, heavy tackles. Like all the great players, they have to go through that process. Salah has to go through it. Messi has to go through it. Maradona, Grealish, they all have to go through that. And you have to. And once players respect that you can handle it, then it kind of calms down a little bit. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Over in TalkSport 2, there's live NFL action as the Vikings take on the Bears. But right here, we're taking your calls on 03717 223344 on the final word phone in on what has been a day that Ruben Amorim realises the size of the job facing him at Manchester United. Absolutely. And is Mo Salah the man to fire Liverpool to the title after their thrilling 3-2 victory against Southampton this afternoon? Call us right now and we'll get you next on the final word phone in here on TalkSport.
To win your fantasy football league, you need to be one step ahead of the competition. And at SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, we're giving you the edge you need to take home the trophy.
There are no tight ends that you can count on. We will tell you who to start.
Our experts are doling out start-sit advice, waiver pickups, and so much more to help you win a championship.
Just because you're allowed to make a waiver move doesn't mean you have to make a waiver move.
Listen right now on Channel 87 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
This is Brian Schmetzer from the Seattle Sounders. You're listening to your home for Major League Soccer, SiriusXM FC.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-244-0909. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-244-0909. That's 800-244-0909. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-244-0909.
SiriusXM FC.
Times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-244-0909. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-244-0909. That's 800-244-0909. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-244-0909.
SiriusXM FC.
This is SiriusXM FC 150.
Hey SOP fans, my name's True. I'm a massive Manchester United fan and I'm also a pro EAFC player. Now today's a big game because it's Ruben Amorim's first game managing Manchester United in the Premier League and we need to get those 3 points on the table. We need to see progression in terms of style of play and something that we can build on. I'll be the guy that's in the chat supporting the team. Hopefully we can get those 3 points like I said. Let's go Manchester United. Come on.
A deserved point. Plenty of reaction to come as Amorim gives his first proper assessment of United's players. Leicester have sacked Steve Cooper after just 15 games in the job. TalkSport's chief football correspondent Alex Crook says, weirdly, it's been a long time coming.
I'm told, actually, the hierarchy at Leicester had their reservations very early in Cooper's tenure. I'm not sure he ever really had that connection with the players. I'm not sure they really enjoyed playing under Steve Cooper.
They're 2 points clear of the relegation zone. Liverpool are 8 clear at the top after a comeback victory at Southampton. Arne Slot's been speaking to TalkSport.
It was in the end a massive win because we were down 2-1 after an hour.
It was another dodgy display at the back for Saints, and Russell Martin does seem to know it's a trend.
Yeah, the goals we conceded rubbish.
Not much more to say on that. Now, this is TalkSport's 2 actual, unedited commentary at the end of Swansea Leeds.
In the last minute, Swansea are level. But James gathers, and here is Gnonto with a great chance, and Gnonto has done it! And Leeds are ahead once again!
Okay, fine. I think there were 84 seconds between the goals, but still madness, and Leeds are top of the championship. And England smashed Eddie Jones's Japan 59-14 after Scotland beat Australia.
TalkSport News.
A major incident's been declared in South Wales after hundreds of properties were flooded during Storm Bert. People in Pontypridd used buckets and bins to bail out their homes after the River Taff burst its banks. A senior British Army officer's been charged after allegedly taking an old hand grenade through Edinburgh Airport. And Song Hyun Min had to win the Asian Games to get out of military service, but another South Korean deliberately got fat. He's now been given a suspended jail term. He did still have to serve, but in a non-combat role because of his drastic weight gain.
TalkSport weather with QuickFit. For a limited time only, get 15% off a set of 4 selected premium tyres in our Black Friday event. Don't miss out and book today at quickfit.com and drive away happy every time. Conditions apply.
Lots of weather warnings still in place as a result of Storm Bert, and warnings that driving conditions in many parts of the UK are treacherous.
On 1089 and 1053 medium wave, on DAB, online and on your smart speaker.
There's the full-time whistle.
It's the ultimate fan phone-in.
And that surely settles it.
The final word phone-in with Madge and Pards on TalkSport.
Good evening. It is the final word phone in here on TalkSport with former Crystal Palace manager Alan Pardew. Man United fans went to Portman Road today with a spring in their step, but the reality hit home after being held to a 1-1 draw against Ipswich. Was today the wake-up call for the new Portuguese boss? How many of those players are actually Manchester United quality? Whilst their great rivals, Liverpool stormed to an 8-point lead at the top of the Premier League table, beating Southampton in a 5-goal classic. Now, how far are these two great English sides apart at the moment? 03717 223344 is the number to have your say to the nation. And I see Leicester fans desperate to have their say after Steve Cooper was sacked earlier today, so we'll be hearing from you very soon. Remember that we're also live on the TalkSport YouTube channel and across the Talk Network, so welcome to all of our listeners and viewers. This show is all about you and your views. Call us right now, 03717 223344, and have your say next on the final word phone in. Of course, it finished Ipswich 1, Manchester United 1, Southampton 2, Liverpool 3. You heard in the news there. In the Championship, Swansea 3, Leeds 4 with a last-minute goal for Leeds to go to the top of the Championship. And in the WSL, it finished Chelsea 1, Manchester United 0. And we just want to send our congratulations to Max Verstappen on winning his 4th F1 world title after the Las Vegas GP this morning. What a place to win it in as well. I bet he's having a party. It feels like
you need to get out there. That would have been right up your street. You could have done that party.
I had a few people out there. I saw the videos.
Did you see they put the this huge long dinner table on the straight of the track? You know, on the grid.
Yeah.
And they had a dinner party, like all the teams, all the staff. Actually, quite a nice touch, I thought.
Oh, mate,
they do things differently there.
That's fair. It's just crazy, isn't it?
I mean, the images has got such clarity, haven't they?
I know.
You know, I mean, I was out there in the summer, and first time I see it, I was like, wow, that is just an amazing structure.
You noticed something in the news there, didn't you, about one of our colleagues, Crookie?
Yeah, well, you know, I don't like it when speculation like that. I think his quote was, yeah, they had reservations about everyone at the start, the hierarchy. I don't agree with that. You know, how does he know that's a fact? It's just, it could be just someone just spreading that rumour. And he's our chief football correspondent.
He is our chief football correspondent.
I don't think he should say those sort of things. And it's not helpful for Cooper at all. And it could be just hearsay.
Absolutely.
That's facts.
We like facts. Facts on this show only. Facts only. And speaking of facts, let's go over to someone that's always got facts for us, and that is Man United fan Adam. Evening, Adam.
Adam.
Hi, good evening.
How are we, mate? You right?
Aye, dead on. Yeah, all good. Just phoning in about the game. So overall, I'm not too bothered. Obviously, Ruben's not going to just work magic overnight. He's only had like 2 or 3 days with most of the players.
Correct.
But, my main concern is I've been really saying this to most of my mates, United fans as well, over the last 2 seasons. It's up front is our problem. I mean, Alan knows better than anyone. You know, it's the goals that realistically win you the games, and we don't have anything. I mean, I phoned in maybe about 2 or 3 months ago, and Alan was on, and I said about we should have bust the bank last 2 summers ago for Harry Kane. Every United fan thought it was going to happen. And for some weird reason, it didn't. You know, they spent all the money on Mount and Donana when we had a world-class keeper in the head.
And you know, the reality of that one is, and I said this to Pards at the time, is Manchester United isn't Manchester United of yesteryear. If this was Alex Ferguson's Manchester United, the way that you lot got Van Persie, that's how it happened. Yeah. Harry Kane's looking at his options there. He's been crucified at Spurs for not winning anything. There was no guarantee to win something with Manchester United. I know in that period of time, Man United have won an FA Cup and the League Cup as well. But at that time, you was talking about, you know, Maddison, Declan Rice, Harry Kane. These are all what would have been Manchester United players, Pods.
Yeah, no, I understand, but I think I thought personally, if we had have put the effort in hard and got him the way we would have under Sir Alex, he could have had that kind of Van Persie effect where literally one player could basically win you the title.
Yeah.
But let me tell you why. Well, that probably fell down over finance, right? I'm guessing. That's what I'm assuming.
Daniel Levy would never have sold to Manchester United. No way. Not Harry Kane. Wouldn't have happened.
What do you mean?
It wouldn't have happened. Not in this. You know the Berbatov days when we sold Berbatov or Carrick to Manchester United? Harry Kane, he didn't sell him to Man City. Why is he going to sell him to Manchester United?
What do you mean? He's just going to get the best price for him.
He wouldn't, 100%.
Yeah, it took less. It took 10 million less, 20 million less.
He would have said, you're going abroad and I'll take this money.
You think?
Oh, okay. That's where he went to Bayern Munich.
Okay.
But basically what I'm getting at is I think if it was down to me personally, I think we should go all in. Whether I don't think it was going to happen in January. I think in January we should go for a kind of like a Gallo type, you know, early 30 striker for like a loan for 6 months, and then next summer go in hard for two world-class strikers, because I think Højlund is a good player, but he's not ready yet. He needs to develop. So I would be more.
He needs to develop quickly. Let me tell you.
He's not a striker that for the size of Man United, he shouldn't be our main.
I agree,
striker. So I think we should go for the Sporting Lisbon striker that Ruben worked with. What do you call him?
Gyökeres.
Yes, Gyökeres, and also I would bust the bank for Isak from Newcastle. He's phenomenal. He gives me kind of like Andy Cole, Dwight York kind of
vibe.
To be fair, I'm looking at the sort of numbers of the Premier League top scorers right now. And, you know, you go all the way down the list. There's not one Man United player in there. And we're going, you got the Sakas, Pedros, Jimenez, Isak, Solanke. Even Maddison scored 5 this season. Delap, one of your former players, Welbeck, 6 goals this season. Wisser at Brentford. And Mbeumo at Brentford with 8 goals.
Man United just bought Xerxes, right?
Yeah.
You know,
that's what I was about to say, Alan. That guy, that's just a no-go for me. I don't know what they bought him for. He literally offers nothing. I know you have to give people time, but...
Yeah, but this is what worries me a little bit is I know it wasn't the manager who's currently got the job. Obviously, he's only been in a week, but it was the same team, i.e. Jason Wilcox and everybody else who took him. You know, it might have been Ten Hag, might have been pushing for him, but if you've got a transfer structure in place, that should have been a no-go in my opinion. But anyway... Sure. Just going back to where we are with Man United, he's got a big job there, that manager, and I do agree a little bit with the Chelsea fan who was talking about Mourinho, saying he was on a completely different level as a Portuguese manager, and he was. But I do think Amorim has definitely, in my opinion, got a special kind of star quality about him. So I think the manager's choice is good. I really do. And I think he has a lot of problems. And as I said, he's had more questions today about that team. He'll be going home, scratching his head on that bus or on the plane or wherever they're on, thinking, my goodness me, what am I going to do this week? And he's going to have to keep trialling players to see what he likes.
Great call. Thank you very much, Adam. Xerxes, £105,000 a week he's on. That's what I'm saying about this.
How do you know his wages? How do you know that?
Go on the internet and look.
You can't take that as read.
I can.
You can't, because
Man United wages. I go on there.
I know. I hate those sort of things. It's ridiculous. Well, people put them up every week.
Casemiro 350, Bruno 300, Marcus 300, Mason Mount 250, Anthony 200,000 a week.
Yeah, well, he didn't get a mention, Anthony. I mean, in terms of what was expected of him and the transfer fees. When you look at it, I think I see a stat this week that Man United over the last sort of 10, 15 years have spent more than anybody else. I'm sure I see that stat. I might be wrong.
03717 223344 is the number to call us here on The Final Word. If you wanted to know what Arsenal invincible Martin Keown thought about this huge weekend of Premier League action, you can. Luckily, he joins White and Jordan from 10 a.m. tomorrow morning on Talk Sport. And remember, it's Sunday, so that means one thing and one thing only.
On your WhatsApp is a very special place you can speak to Manchester. WhatsApp, baby.
Send us your WhatsApp, baby.
WhatsApp, baby, WhatsApp.
Final word.
WhatsApp, baby, WhatsApp.
The WhatsApp number is 03717223344. That's right. We want to hear your WhatsApp voice notes. Say your name, your team, and your concise point to 03717 223344. Now, Pards, I like to think on this network, me and you, we own the WhatsApp space. I listen to it during the week. They don't do the WhatsApp messages like us today.
No, we get the quality calls. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. And I want to hear personally from some of the fans that we don't normally hear from. Like Wycombe Wanderers, for example, top of the league by 3 points. How are they doing? Wrexham, Parky, my old captain and assistant manager, doing a job again at Wrexham. They're going for another division.
Wow.
All these clubs. Come on, let's have a little bit.
So this is your...
Tell them what they got to do,
Your chance. All you need to do is add us to your phone book, 03717 223344. Head over to WhatsApp, choose TalkSport, press the microphone button, and send us your WhatsApp. It's The Final Word on TalkSport.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
If it's a Sunday during the NFL season, it's the Sunday Drive. Catch live look-ins, instant scoreboard updates, and expert analysis and breakdown of every game on the gridiron with reporters at every stadium. For complete coverage, tune to Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88 and the Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM Sports. Wherever you are, your team plays here.
Most trucking companies are hiring, so why should you consider a move to Crete Carrier or Schaefer Trucking? Just ask our drivers.
I did my homework, and that's how I found out Crete was a great company. Everything my recruiter told me was, in fact, the way it was. And, it started off that way. I never thought it would work out like this,
Visit us at CreteCarrier.com or call pound 250, keyword Crete.
Hi, I'm Joe Perillo with JoePerillo.com. We know many of you are searching for just that right pre-owned luxury vehicle. That's why I want to tell you about JoePerillo.com. At JoePerillo.com, you could browse our huge selection of luxury pre-owned vehicles. JoePerillo.com is based in Chicago, but we ship cars from all over the country. And while most of you know about our huge selection of luxury pre-owned vehicles, I'd also like to tell you about Perillo Collision. The Perillo Collision staff are trained and insured to repair Bentleys, Rolls-Royce, Lamborghinis, or any other high-end luxury vehicles. We service accidents from all over the country. Maintain your luxury vehicle's warranty with our professional team. Visit JoePerillo.com. That's JoePerillo.com. That's JoePerillo, and click on Perillo Collision. Or call us at 312-BMW-1111. That's 312-BMW-1111. 312-BMW-1111. That's JoePerillo.com.
Your home for the world's game is Sirius XM FC 157.
You're listening to Sirius XM Radio.
This is Sirius XM Radio.
Want to listen to Sirius XM FC when you get out of the car? Tyler Terrens has a solution for you.
Brand new Sirius XM app. It is how I digest all of my FC material.
All of your favorite FC shows.
Grumpy Pundits, Football Show, Counterattack, WTF,
and more. Just one click away.
Download the app, and then you will get all of these 3-hour soccer shows, nonstop soccer, anytime that you want.
So what are you waiting for?
Just get it.
Download the new Sirius XM app right now.
It's the ultimate fan phone-in.
What a goal, what a game.
The Final Word phone-in with Madge and Pards on TalkSport.
Jeremy Clarkson has been the talk of farmers up and down the land this week, but the real tractor boys are only interested in making sure that Ruben Amorim's inheritance is taxing. We're underway in the Ruben Amorim era.
Got options in the middle. One of them is Rashford, and Rashford has scored. 1 minute and 20 seconds into the Ruben Amorim era, and Marcus Rashford, whose performances have been called into question, has struck straight away within 90 seconds. It's Ipswich 0, Manchester United 1.
Sheeran Scott shivers because we've got a goal at Portman Road, Mike Shaw.
I tell you what, he did this on so many occasions last season, but Amari Hutchison has done it again. I don't think it's any more than Ipswich deserved. It's Ipswich 1, Manchester United 1.
Good evening. It's the Final Word phone-in with Madge and Parks here on TalkSport. That bed sounds like something like Coldplay would do. That's like a record with like an EDM star. Who's missing is Chris Martin.
Yeah, it's a bit sameish. They are, though, aren't they, Coldplay? I mean, I've been to the concert. I was a little bit like, oh. But the one thing I would say about them, they do engage with the fans.
Oh, they're incredible.
And we are a bit like that. We engage with the fans.
We do, and that's why I'm asking you, if you listen to us now, you haven't done it, have you? They've not done it, Pards.
They've not done the voice thing.
They've not sent the voice note. I told you to do the voice note before. Come on. Do your voice notes, guys. We need you. Now, get your voice notes in 03717 22 3344. I'm going to take you back, Pards. You've got a good memory. What happened on the 4th of March, 1995?
4th of March, no, go on, give us a clue. You've got to give me a bit more clue than that.
It was Manchester United and Ipswich. It was the 4th of March, 1995.
4-3. No.
9-0 at Old Trafford.
Oh, was that the 9-0 game?
The 9-0 game.
Wow.
It always sticks in my mind. I remember watching that at Match of the Day. Everyone got involved. I think Coley scored a hat-trick, didn't he?
You know, whenever there's a figure of 9, I switch off. You know that, don't you?
Really?
Well, for obvious reasons. Obviously, Liverpool 9, Crystal Palace 0. It's not something you like to kind of have a figure that sticks in your mind, like quite like that. Painful night. And I remember we was like, when was ours? 1990. And all the radio stations, Chris Evans, I think, was doing the radio then. They were like hammering us, like it was a joke for like weeks on end. Anyway, that's what happens when you get beat by 9.
Andrew Cole scored 5. Roy Keane. Mark Hughes got 2 and Paul Ince got 1.
Paul Ince got 1, did he?
Yeah.
He didn't score many, Paul.
Let's go over to Ashley, who's an Ipswich fan who's at the game today. Evening, Ashley.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Very well. Are you old enough to remember that 1995 game, the 9-0 drubbing against Manchester United?
I am old enough to remember, and that was at Portman Road, I think. I don't think that was Old Trafford.
No, it says it was Old Trafford.
Oh, was it? I thought it was at Portman Road.
Well, a bit different today in the scoreline.
Yeah, a little bit different, mate. Oh, well, apart from the first 80 seconds, I thought Ipswich completely outplayed them.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Anytime Manchester United come to town, it doesn't matter who you are, you're always thinking, it's Man United.
Oh, exactly. To be honest, after 80 seconds, I thought, oh, no, this new era of Man United's already started. But then, they just kind of like... I've not seen a Man United team pass it around the back four so much in all the years I've watched football. Yeah, they literally... It went from Onana...
across the back.
And then out, literally across the whole back four. And they've done that for the whole of the first half. Second half, they came out and played well. But Ipswich, I thought, completely outplayed them today.
Yeah, you know, when you're putting in a new formation on the pitch, you know, the midfield players are a little bit undecided who's coming short, who's going long, and actually yesterday Maddison was absolutely brilliant for Spurs, Madge. You know, when he was going into the back four and things like that, that's when you've worked on on the structure of your team, and the number 10 can come and get it, and you got a real mixture.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and they didn't have that Man United today. You're right. They were sort of going around the back, not quite sure whether to go in there yet. The timing was quite right. But, as you say, you kept your shape well today. You had a lot of energy, a lot of belief, and I thought you edged it. I really did. I was so disappointed for Delap that he didn't get that the goal after the build-up and then the little flick. He was so unlucky.
Oh, he scored them all season this season as well. He scored 6, but he normally bangs them in left, right, centre.
Yeah, he's a good player, isn't he?
One thing Ipswich are missing as well is a second striker. Al-Mohammadi, good player. He's still a youngster, and he needs to grow into the game. But took the lap off, and it was almost like a different game. He just had no outlet.
No.
Yeah.
What do you expect for the rest of the season, Ashley? Ashley, what is a success for Ipswich this season?
Staying up is the main priority, and I think what we're doing at the moment is good. Just picking up the points, slowly building, slowly plodding along. I think our biggest game coming up is probably Palace down at Portman Road. Forest next week. They're a good team. They took a drumming yesterday, but they're a very good team, and it's away. But Palace down here is going to be. I don't want to say 6 point already, but it's looking quite important at the moment.
Yeah.
Pod, what's that number you said that teams that come up need to do?
Well, if you want to guarantee it, it's 10 wins. That's what that's your target. When you look at the sides at the moment, Ipswich got 1 win from 12 games. Palace got 1 win from 12 games. Southampton got 1 win from 12 games. If I was a betting man, I would say, well, they're right in the frame. Obviously, they are the bottom 3. And then only winning 2 games is Everton, Leicester and Wolverhampton. Right, so the title. When you look at that, when you look at the league table at the stands at the minute, it's probably going to be 9 wins this year that get you out, get you safety. So that's where you should target. And Ipswich got there's nothing wrong with them targeting that. At the moment, they're 9 points from 12 games, and obviously you've got to get a point a game really if you want to stay in the division.
Oh, I completely agree. Yeah, completely agree.
Brilliant, cool. Thank you very much, Ashley. Let's go to Sam, who's a Man United fan. Evening, Sam.
Evening, gents. How are you doing?
Yeah, very well. The new era starts. Did you feel energised? What did you make of it?
No, I don't feel energised at all. I think, obviously, nothing to do with Amorim, obviously, but nothing's going to change in that football club until the recruitment policy changes. I don't know who's making decisions at the high in the room at the minute. I know Ratcliffe's been here best part of a year now.
He has no football background, and I don't think actually he's part of the transfer policy. By the way, I think he's looking at coaches and kind of giving them a lift here and there, and just being an overseer. I don't see him on that transfer one. But just a question for you, Sam. Who do you think today nailed down their position? Give me like 7 names that you think will start the next game. Do you think you could do that?
Palms, I couldn't give you one. Maybe now.
I thought Diallo did brilliant actually at right wing back. Did you not think that?
I do think so, yeah. But is he a wing back that Amorim wants to play? I'm not sure. Obviously, he put in a great shift on the right. I'd love to know who's making these decisions, though. Alan, you've been involved in these top clubs, and I just love to know, do you think anyone could actually get a beat out of this squad of players, or do you think they'll be a lost cause and Amorim needs a couple of years? Like we said about Ten Hag, he needed a couple of years, and obviously we gave him the time. Brought in players he wanted to bring in, supposedly, and obviously the recruitment over the last couple of years has been appalling. Are we going down the same route again? The question to yourself: do you think it is something that we can turn around?
Well, I certainly sympathise with the signings that you've made in the past with the regime that you've had. I mean, you've got Jason Wilcox there, who probably is leading that transfer team, I should think. And the new manager, will definitely have a power to kind of pick and choose and sort of say, OK, from these 4 names, I want this one. But there is so much work to do there. Going into that team today, looking at that squad of players, I can't name back 3 that I'd be comfortable with if I was, and even if I was at Newcastle, I wouldn't like to have had that back 3 you had today. The midfield is far removed from the midfield I had at Newcastle, and the strikers you had are nowhere near what I had at Newcastle. And that's going back 10 years.
Yeah.
So, that's where you're at. The new manager has got to find a solution, I think, to get you in the top 10. And I think that would be, I know that sounds perhaps a little bit negative, but I think that will be a positive for me. If he gets him in the top 10, and then they've got to make a real radical change transfer-wise.
Absolutely, and it's a big week of live European football here on TalkSport, including Liverpool's huge Champions League match against Real Madrid on Wednesday from 7 p.m. And Man United face Norwegian side Bodo Glimt on Thursday. All the details of our live games is available on our website, talksport.com. But next, more of your calls, 03717 223344, and we turn our attention to Leicester next as the Premier League club goes manager hunting. This is the final word here on TalkSport.
This week, Howard Stern welcomed for the very first time, Cher.
So I Got You, Babe comes out, and now all of a sudden you're famous. It's on the radio.
We knocked the Beatles off the charts.
Over an hour of captivating conversation.
I've liked some of my songs, but most of them have been ones that weren't a hit.
I mean, who sells 140 million albums?
I don't know.
No one.
Listener watch the full interview with Cher. Now on the SiriusXM app.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-244-0909. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-244-0909. That's 800-244-0909. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-244-0909.
As a truck driver, your time is valuable. It's critical that you are provided excellent equipment in tip-top shape. At Rail Transport, we make sure that when breakdowns happen, you are back on the road quickly. We measure downtime in hours, not days. Couple that with our industry-leading address-to-address practical route mileage, and you have a winning combination. It's all part of our commitment to driver success. To learn more about driving careers with Rail, give us a call at 715-591-7050 or visit rail.jobs.
Search Kings announces Call Intelligence, the most important development in the history of Google advertising. Think of Call Intelligence as MRI technology for your business that sees clearly what aspects of your marketing are working, that evaluates, summarizes, and scores the profit potential of every incoming call, and actually trains Google to give you better leads. With Call Intelligence, you can stop guessing so you can plan and spend smarter. You want to stand out where your customers are online? Switch to Search Kings.
Talk Sport News.
They were thinking too much. Ruben Amorim's assessment of his Manchester United players as they attempted to put his ideas into practice at Portman Road. It finished 1-1 after Marcus Rashford had got United's new era off to the perfect start within 80 seconds. Leicester have sacked Steve Cooper. They're 2 points clear of the relegation zone, but TalkSport understands much of the squad were unconvinced by their boss. A comeback win at Southampton sent Liverpool 8 points clear, while Leeds have gone top of the Championship with a crazy 4-3 victory at Swansea. England have battered Eddie Jones's Japan 59-14 to end their losing run. Earlier, Scotland beat Australia.
Wednesday night, the Champions League live on TalkSport. High-intensity, expressive football.
Liverpool versus Real Madrid.
Build up and banter from 7. Kick off 8 o'clock. Rock.
Wednesday night on TalkSport.
Don't scratch it, it'll make it worse.
What an utterly bonkers afternoon in North London. Arsenal 4, Leicester 2.
Game, set and match here. Manchester United 3, Leicester City 0.
And there are boos around the King Power Stadium.
They've got one over on their former boss, Steve Cooper. It's finished Leicester 1, Nottingham Forest 3.
Cooper would have got Forest relegated. And do you know what? He's going to get us relegated.
We've seen both centre halves of Leicester get bullied by Nicholas Jackson twice. It's finished Leicester 1, Chelsea 2.
I thought Leicester were
terrible first 35, mate, honestly.
Yeah, they were terrible.
What is that all about? What did I watch from them?
There is an anger in the air as Leicester lose again.
I mean, this is pretty embarrassing for Leicester City.
Adam at Palace as well for the VAR. I won't say anything that's going to get me into trouble, but I know we've had some bad luck with him this year, so I'll let you look into that.
I'm getting sick and tired of this. Managers coming out, shifting and deflecting blame away from their own performances. Disgusting.
Breaking news. Leicester City have fired Steve Cooper.
Good evening, you're listening to the Final Word phone in here on TalkSport with me, Majestic, and former Crystal Palace, West Ham, Newcastle, Southampton, West Brom, Charlton, Reading.
Harris. CSK Sevilla.
Not bad TV, is it? You've done a bit, Pards. The legend that is Alan Pardew, not experienced Premier League manager. That text always gets upset. Put more respect on his name. Well, there you go. Someone we spoke to a couple of weeks ago, and it was quite random because we weren't really talking about Leicester in the show, but she was very upset with him. It was Garinda, and she joins us on the show. Yes. Okay. Good evening, Garinda.
Hello, good evening.
Is it a happy day for you, Garinda?
You know, I have to say, yes, I'm happy, but, you know, obviously I'm sad a man's lost his job.
Yeah, as a human being.
Yeah, but the thing is, it was a panic appointment, so I think at that time, that the point deduction was looming and Graham Potter cowered out. No one wanted that position, and I guess the only man that like, come on, let's bring this man. So that didn't happen. He shouldn't have been appointed in the first place, you know?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. Especially the sort of the Nottingham Forest.
I don't think it was I don't quite agree with that because it's still a great situation to take a team, you know, into the Premier League when you're, you know, for any manager, it's an honour. And I don't think it was, but I do understand what you're saying, that maybe one of the two of the bigger hitters sort of thought, not sure, point situation, are they going to, you know, I get where you're coming from on that. But I think it's interesting to see where you're going to go because, you know, if my experience is right, it would be telling me that this is already done, and it'll be a question of being announced this week. The name that it will be, I can't give you, but I'm pretty sure it'll be done.
Moyes, isn't it, Moyes?
You think?
I think that I would prefer Ruud van Nistelrooy. Again, it's to be honest, like there's no great English coach, and I think someone like Ruud van Nistelrooy. And I think Leicester, when you think about our achievements, we've done very well with, like, Claudio Ranieri, unfortunately, Maresca. I think someone like a Ruud van Nistelrooy, he'd be a great...
well, let me give you a little sort of twist on that. Yeah. So the last manager, right, you bring in as assistant to Pep, and he's got great foundations, great reputation as assistant. He comes in, does a brilliant job, stays 1 year and goes to Chelsea. So if you was